Sprinkles if you got them. Jack's Donuts. Find a location near you. Now.
This is the Frells family's land. When the sun comes out, the kids run and play right there. This used to be a shed. Now, it's where they get breakfast. This is more than just land. It's home. The Frells family runs with us on a John Deere 1 Series tractor because land isn't the only thing that should live on for generations. Nothing runs like a Deere. Search John Deere 1 Series for more.
Visit Reynolds Farm Equipment, your hometown John Deere dealer today at reynoldsfarmequipment.com.
You're good at making big announcements. We're good at your insurance.
Start with Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, online, over the phone, or in person, and stop knocking on wood.
From warehousing to transportation and everything in between, Piper Logistics does it all. Centrally located, Piper Logistics has 2 warehouses in Indianapolis and a warehouse in Cincinnati, Ohio. Piper Logistics houses over 1 million square feet. Along with our transportation department, we can provide service to half the United States markets.
Craving comfort fresh food made from scratch daily? Check out Aspen Creek Grill. Located across from Hamilton Town Center and beside the Holiday Inn, we offer family farm-raised premium black Agnes steaks hand-cut daily, creamy pastas, salmon chicken, and fall-off-the-bone ribs. Start with our famous powwow shrimp appetizer, and don't miss our refreshing drinks. Family-friendly or a great night out with friends. Aspen Creek Grill. Aspen Creek Grill, Noblesville. Call 317-559-3300.
Burtner Electric Incorporated has been proudly serving our residential and commercial customers with quality electrical repair for over 33 years. We are fully licensed and insured in electrical wiring and electrician service packages. You'll receive a competitive assessment whether you're a homeowner or a business owner, first-time or long-time customer. We offer free estimates for any new project. Call our licensed and experienced electricians today.
All I ever wanted was to feel loved. He said he loved me. My friends told me it wasn't a big deal. They thought he was so cool. But they didn't know what he wanted me to do.
All I ever wanted was to feel loved. You have no idea the kind of pressure I felt to take things to the next level. Things were moving so fast. I was basically the only person in the freshman class who hadn't done it yet. So, we did.
I loved him.
I thought she loved me.
My health class had CPR at school. I stayed after class to talk with the instructor about it. They showed me that it didn't have to be that way.
They showed me that I get to make my own choices.
There is another way.
That's the best thing CPR gives you. Another way. A better way.
A healthy way. Sometimes you don't see it because you're in your own world, but they don't make you feel bad. They talk to you like a real person, and they save kids from really unhealthy decisions. They tell the truth, and they know what they're talking about. So yeah, my life was different. I started to choose the better way.
I honestly don't know where I'd be or what I'd be doing had it not been for CPR.
High school sports fans, welcome back to Game Time. to pure spirits, to pure sports. Welcome back to high school sports.
Fans, I'm IHSAA Commissioner Paul Knighty, and I just want to say, welcome back.
This is game time. This is Indiana high school sports. This is your IHSAA.
You want a career that will transform your life while you change the lives of others by helping them live well. With a health or exercise sciences degree from IUPUI School of Health and Human Sciences, you will gain an in-depth understanding of the healthcare industry while preparing you for a variety of graduate and professional programs in health. And with Indy as your classroom, you will have clinical options within leading hospitals right in our backyard, as well as a degree from Indiana University, reputable leaders in the healthcare industry. It all starts here.
Can't get to a computer? Then we've got you covered. Just go to the IndianaSRN app and stay up to date with all of your favorite teams. You can watch live coverage or relive the experience with our on-demand service.
After the Marine Corps, I was diagnosed with PTSD and became homeless for 15 years. Like a hermit living on the street, I just existed.
Sprinkles if you got them. Jack's Donuts. Find a location near you now.
Hey, conductor, how about something new? You played this last year. Come on, get your head out of your sacks. We're trying to hear. Well, I'm sick and tired of hearing your kid play the wrong notes. Where's my kid solo?
At least you can see your kid. Why is my kid stuck way in the back?
The conductor only plays his favorites.
My kid heard that solo!
You say my kid?
Receivers in, quarterback keeper Van Vliet crossed the 45-50, and he's up the right sideline at the 30, his biggest run by far.
The city of St. Louis has sent a lot of great things to Indianapolis: toasted ravioli, Provel cheese, and even the ice cream cone. But for tonight, it sent a couple of charter buses to the corner of Kessler and Crittenden filled with a very good football team. Good evening, everyone. Alongside my broadcast partner, Craig Cox, I'm John Cupo, and we're very excited to bring you a cross-state matchup here on IndianaSRN as the Bishop Chatard Trojans play host to the Cadets of Christian Brothers College High School. Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by IUPUI School of Health and Human Sciences. Begin your journey today. The Morales Group, building better futures one story at a time. Bertner Electric, serving greater Indianapolis and the surrounding counties. Piper Logistics, from warehousing to transportation, we do it all. And Reynolds Farm Equipment, serving our customers and the community since 1955. Well, the Trojans are coming off a victory against Guerin Catholic, which ended on one of the craziest plays you'll see on any level of football. The Cadets are riding a 3-game win streak in which the offense averaged 53 points per game in that stretch. Let me bring in my partner, Craig Cox. Craig, this is the first time these two teams have ever faced off against each other, so the scouting had to be tough for head coaches Rob Doyle of Chatard and Scott Pingle of Christian. So let's start with the cadets, and what should we expect tonight?
Well, I think a lot of it's going to be more running back by committee. They're a little bit balanced on the offensive side, kind of a three-headed monster that they have with a lot of the carries being spread around between Ralph Dixon, Jeremiah Love, and Dylan Van. They kind of rotate even a couple quarterbacks as well from a statistical standpoint. But it's probably a little strange for both of these programs to not only have it's really not even a border war. You know, we're talking about 2 states away, but a lot of unfamiliarity with this. And so you had mentioned about it, John. It makes it a little tough on both these coaches and players, but it's also kind of a neat little thing where you can have out-of-state teams do this.
And for Chatard, their name is associated with winning, and all of Central Indiana knows that. What's the smartest approach on both offense and defense against a team Rob Doyle and his Trojans know very little about?
Well, it is. I think a lot of it you're going to see is a lot of discipline that they have here, and there's some great things to expect on both sides of the ball from a Rob Doyle coach team.
We'll step aside. You're watching Bishop Chatard and Christian Brothers on IndianaSRN.
From warehousing to transportation and everything in between, Piper Logistics does it all. Centrally located, Piper Logistics has 2 warehouses in Indianapolis and a warehouse in Cincinnati, Ohio. Piper Logistics houses over 1 million square feet. Along with our transportation department, we can provide service to half the United States markets.
We encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, IndianaSRN. Hit the bell to get notifications for upcoming games and more. Watch as many games as you want, as many times as you want.
You want a career that creates experiences that are impossible to forget. By studying sports and events at IUPUI, you'll get hands-on experience in and out of the classroom. And with Indy as your classroom, there are high-profile events, sports franchises, hotels, museums, and large organizations across the city to engage, educate, and enlighten your student journey before you graduate. There isn't a better city than Indianapolis to get the experience you need to prepare you to handle any event, big or small. It all starts here.
This is the Frells family's land. When the sun comes out, the kids run and play right there. This used to be a shed. Now, it's where they get breakfast. This is more than just land. It's home. The Frells family runs with us on a John Deere 1 Series tractor. This land isn't the only thing that should live on for generations. Nothing runs like a Deere. Search John Deere 1 Series for more.
Visit Reynolds Farm Equipment, your hometown John Deere dealer today at reynoldsfarmequipment.com.
At Morales Group Staffing, we are all about building better futures. And during these times, we are working hard to put people to work. We are now hiring for hundreds of jobs with pay up to $17 an hour. Visit our website at moralesgroup.net or text JOBS, JOBS, to 317-472-7600 to apply now and get hired today.
We encourage you to follow us on Twitter at IndianaSRN. Find upcoming games, video highlights, and much more. Follow us now at IndianaSRN.
The gateway to the west, the Circle City, who will hold bragging rights throughout I-70. These two teams will discuss it over the next 48 minutes here on IndianaSRN. Beautiful rendition of the national anthem sang by Junior from Bishop Chatard, Louis Ravelli. So, Craig, again, you have 2 coaches, Scott Pingle in his 15th year, Rob Doyle in his 6th now with Bishop Chatard. 7 state titles, or I should say 5 state titles between the two. How is that going to translate, again, into a place where Christian Brothers has never been before? How is that going to translate as they take? You can see them taking the field right now, and that's a big group of kids as we get our first look at them. How is this going to translate for them to hopefully handle Chatard this evening?
Well, I think, both these teams have played some out-of-state foes in the past, and so it's usual territory. But these two have never played each other, and so we talked about in the opening set was the unfamiliarity and understanding how that is. But you can expect both of these programs to be very disciplined, very balanced. You got two veteran coaches that have done great jobs. You mentioned both of them have had great success. Both of them are rich. You've had 4 state championships with Christian Brothers. You've had 15 total that you've had with Chatard, and 2 of those coming under Doyle's regime. So, I mean, there's a lot of things that can come from this, but I think put those aside. At the end of the day, it comes down to execution. Who can eliminate big plays? Who can keep the turnovers down? Who can maximize getting turnovers from the defensive side, which will play out well as we head to the fourth quarter.
It's been kind of an up-and-down season for the Trojans this year. Only at 3-2. Not as consistent as we've seen in the past. What is the most important thing on an offensive standpoint that the Trojans can do to really upset this very big and very fast Christian Brothers defense?
Well, I think one's going to be able to establish the run, which can in turn be able to set up the passing game for Van Vliet. Van Vliet is one that knew he's a transfer that came in from Richmond last year, but he knew coming in Carter St. John, who since graduated, Van Vliet knew that he was going to have to sit more than likely, barring an injury, and so he kind of had to play the waiting game. But I think the big thing is with Chatard is really trying to establish the ground game, which can open up some things for Drew and his receivers.
When we look at the Christian Brothers defense, some pretty big guys up on that front 3. You have Tyler Gant, the senior, 6'4", 285. Mark Williams, another senior, 5'11", 260. And then another senior, Amir Ellis, at 6'2", 240. But then you look, as you mentioned, the running game for Chatard. Great front 5. They've kind of established themselves. You got Danny Woodcock, Harrison Campbell, Matthew Woods, Jacob Moore, Isaac Fisher. But it's the linebacking core of Christian Brothers that has really solidified that defense. And really, they scramble to the ball. It's never just one tackle. Lots of assists, lots of gang tackling, so everybody's around the ball. What is something going to Christian Brothers offense, which, as you mentioned, a 3-headed monster in the backfield, do throw occasionally, but not that much, but they open up the passing game by using the run. How can they exploit the Chatard defense?
Well, I think Chatard's going to have to do a really good job of keeping things underneath of them and not getting beat anything vertical. I mean, every game you want to try to eliminate the big plays. This is a team with Christian Brothers that can do that. They're very balanced, both in the run and the air. It's a little bit more dominated by Jeremiah McClellan on the receiving end, where they got dual guys and 3 at that with the running backs. But I think a lot of it is not giving up the big plays and certainly getting beat anything vertical to be able to establish the run better.
The Cadets have been able to establish the running because they have a gigantic offensive line. You have Bryce Parsonage Jr. at 6'4", 285. Levi McGee, the senior, 6'2", 300. Avery Olson, the center, at 6'2", 255. Bo Brown, 6'2", 275. And then just a gigantic young man at the right tackle position in Josh Gregory, the senior, 6'7", 280. So they've met at half field, the captains. And it looks like Chatard will receive in this first half. So Christian Brothers has deferred in this first half. So that means we're going to get our first look at the Chatard offense to begin this game.
A couple weeks ago, I had the opportunity to do the Chatard Cathedral game, and the thing that Cathedral did really well was really take away the opportunities for Drew to pass the ball. Really held them, and so they became so predictable with the run, and Chatard really had a tough time being able to establish that. So it'll be interesting to see tonight with a foe that they have that they don't really have a lot of data or information on, to see again how the Cadets can potentially do the same, or how Chatard neutralizes what the Cadets defense is showing.
And we'll set the starters right after kickoff. So Christian Brothers, 4 hours away from St. Louis on a gorgeous night here at Alumni Field.
I tell you, we've been really, really fortunate. It's been beautiful every single week for high school football this year. And here, it's crazy to think that we're in week 7 with 2 weeks to go.
And we are underway. Ball fielded at the 15 and gets out to about the 27-yard line, where the Trojans will set up shop. Let's set it up real quick. Danny Woodcock, Harrison Campbell, Matthew Woods, Jacob Morgan, Isaac Fisher. Across the line, Jeff Waugh is your tight end. Aiden Duncan, Ryan Keating, Noah Dudek, your receivers. Drew Van Vliet, the big 6'5 senior, will be running the show tonight. And then Riley Kinnett and Jack Waybright in the backfield. It looks like it's Riley Kinnett back there with Van Vliet to start this contest. He is to Van Vliet's left.
And you'll see Van Vliet get the lion's share of these carries tonight. They'll run a few of them in there, but he's getting most.
Here's Kinnett up the middle. And there you go. There's the linebacking core. Just a gaggle of cadets men on that tackle. Maybe a gain of 2, possibly 3. Not much.
Yeah, great job there of being able to stuff the hole. And you talked to it or talked about it there, John, at the opening segment. Is more of the gang tackling. It's not just one guy that's putting the hat on the ball. They get a lot of assists, and they're really flying around. And you'll see that here tonight, as we did on the first play.
And it's actually correction. It's the junior Joe Bridenstine in the backfield. Takes a carry again and met immediately. Good tackle by Kyan Franklin, the senior. Came up from his linebacking position and just stuffed him in the hole.
You see, and again, talked about the size differential, both on the O-line and D-line. And a lot of these linebackers on your second line of defense really are given the cadets the same size, with the exception of one that Chatard's O-line has.
This will bring up a 3rd and a long 8. Here's Van Vliet. Rolls to his right. Out into the flat. And that is complete.
It's like
to Aiden Duncan. That'll be good for a Trojans first down.
Yeah, really good job there of running his route at the top of that, getting some separation there, and really good timing. You can see the good communication, and Drew put it in a position where only Aiden could make the catch.
So man in motion. Here's a snap. Out to his left. Throws it into the bobbled a little bit, but able to hang on. Ryan Keating on that reception. They'll give him 4. It'll be 2nd and 6.
Well, and those are the types of things, too, again, that getting some passes, even if they're little dink and dunks and you're getting 3 and 6 and 8, those are types of things that, again, can only open up the run a bit more. And it kind of gets Drew and his receivers in the flow of the game and kind of keeps the cadet defense at bay.
So 2 tight ends set. The handoff is to Bridenstine. Makes a move, gets through the gap, gets about to the 49. Nice running there by the junior.
It'd be interesting to see. Kinnett's been their guy that is has gotten the lion's share of the carries all year, and so we'll see if we'll end up seeing Kinnett or if there's maybe some reasoning there why he's maybe not in the game.
So 3rd and 2. Van Vliet in the gun, and the hard count. Kyan Franklin got a little bit foot happy there. He was aiming for Van Vliet, but did a little too early.
I tell you, these you talked about it, John, as far as not only the size of the line, but just the linebackers as well. A lot of these guys at the backer position, are already built at a level of collegiate. At 6'2" and 230 is what your linebackers will be a lot of times at the next level. So, as you saw, they were out of blitz on that last play and pulled it off here on this one.
So here's Van Vliet in the pocket. Shoots right, has his man. Complete to Keating, and he's forced out of bounds by number 6, Deshaun Richmond.
Yeah, doing a good job. I mean, cadets are doing a good job of keeping everything underneath. We talked about not allowing anything to get vertical, and you'll see that probably a lot about through both teams as far as what they're after. A lot of little 3 to 5 yard routes. But again, this is things that can still chew up clock and game management and move the ball and chains.
So it'll be 2nd and 5. Van Vliet in the gun. Handoff is to Bridenstine, met immediately in the backfield.
Well, you see the cadets have shown great penetration on every run play. I think there's only been one that's been for positive yards for the Trojans thus far. So the D-line is winning that game in the trenches right now in terms of the run game.
That was Wyatt Haverstick. Caused a commotion there right on the line of scrimmage for no gain. That brings up 3rd and 5. Bridenstine. Here's Van Vliet. Sends it deep and just overshoots his man, Noah Dudek.
And Noah there is getting vertical, getting on the top side of his guy, getting outside leverage there. Drew, really good ball. You want that if you're not completing those, putting it out of position where you're not allowing the DB to make a play on that. So Noah's did a good job of beating his guy here. And I like the opportunity to get downfield. Again, keep the defense honest, and you'll see them in a lot of spread pro sets.
Rob Doyle keeps his offense out there on 4th and 4. We'll see if he tries to get him to jump or if they'll run a play here.
And they're looking at blitz. There's no doubt. They're sending them all.
And Van Vliet rolls out and met immediately for a sack. Number 90, Wyatt Haverstick came across the edge and dropped Van Vliet as soon as he got going.
As a thing there too, when you're showing as much as you are there on the line and it's an obvious blitz, you got to be able to have your running backs be able to chip block and give your quarterback a little bit more time in those situations as the Cadets take over here at their own 48 with their first possession.
Well, at least on that first drive, the Cadets show that they are what they advertised. Great opening series, 4 and out. Here's the offense, Cole McKee. Hands it off and stopped immediately. That was Dylan Van. Looked like it was Matthew Woods who clogged up the hole there. And they'll call it 1. So McKee in the gun. Throws it down the right sideline, has his man. Wow. That's complete. Give him 6.
And that's his guy too, Jeremiah McClellan. We talked about at the opening segment is not allowing the big plays and certainly getting vertical. And Jeremiah showed that right there as his ability just to get on top and or get over the top of the DB there. And what a great throw there by Cole and giving them position to make the play, McClellan.
2 plays in, and Cole McKee just fires a strike to his main receiver, Jeremiah McClellan, for the first score with 7:18 left here in the first. And it hits the upright. Simon Kasich couldn't complete the extra point. But it was a good touchdown. It was a perfect touchdown for Christian Brothers. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back on IndianaSRN. And it was a pooch kick, and look, and he's just moving the legs. Look at this. It's rugby style. What a return.
They've had probably 15, 20 yards of getting a push there. Everybody's trying to strip the ball. We'll take a look here at the replay coming up. And again, Jeremiah McClellan on the outside. This is just a go route and just going, getting over the top, showing athleticism. But what great touch by Cole McKee, hitting his receiver in stride. And they've done that. They've hooked up over 20-plus receptions for McClellan. Has 7 scores, now 8. And McClellan is a guy that's been doing it for him here in this season.
That'll be McKee's 6th touchdown in the air. Here's Van Vliet. Hands off to Brian. And that defensive line, again from the linebacking position. Kyan Franklin. Craig, you had mentioned it. College ready.
Yeah.
This kid's 6'4", 235.
Yeah, that's and you can just see him on your screen there. Yeah, it looks like there was a penalty on the play. I don't know if this is going to be something that's a face mask or going up top, but nope, looks like offsides.
Well, offsides, that's going to negate.
Personal foul face mask. Yeah, that's what I thought, because it looked like the helmet was moved, both on the defense.
Yep. I'm sure they will decline the
offside
and take the personal foul on the face mask.
But John, you're seeing a lot of the athleticism and the size. You know, it's one thing to see guys at the collegiate or pro levels to be the size they are moving, but to see 17 and 18-year-olds built like this and moving the way they do, that's the I think second or third time already that we've actually seen him shoot the gap and his timing. You know, his great vision and hitting the holes really well.
Very experienced group on Scott Pingle's defense. Here's Van Vliet. And had his receiver there, but closing in real quick on that.
It's like Ralph Dixon, was it?
Santino Hendricks came up from the corner position and knocked that away. Good close. So that'll bring up 2nd and 10 from the Cadets' 44. Van Vliet calls his play in the backfield by himself. 4-receiver set. Here's a snap. There's a pocket, and there's pressure again. Van Vliet scrambles, gets away, and we're not sure.
Haven't seen a signal yet, but they're walking back.
And they're walking back, incomplete.
I'll tell you what great pocket presence there, though, by Drew, understanding that the pocket was collapsing. The O-line really has a great, chore tonight in trying to handle this Cadet D-line. They're showing not only great presence, but good, strong pushes. They've been bringing a lot of guys on a lot of these plays, but knowing that the pocket was collapsing, got out of there. And Drew's one that can really throw the ball well off the run as well, John.
So here's Van Vliet, 3rd and 10 in the pocket, moves up, here's Bridenstine, gets a block from his receiver to the 20, gets knocked out of bounds. Nice pitch and catch there from Van Vliet to Bridenstine. That's good for a Chatard first down. Puts him in the red zone.
Yeah, really good job once again, understanding, picking that blitz up there and putting a nice little touch pass. And then certainly for Joe doing what he did with just yards after the catch.
So the Trojans with a good answer here after the long touchdown on the last drive by the Cadets. Here's Van Vliet, looks to his right, now scrambles up the middle, and he'll get about to the 15-yard line.
And again, these are guys, this Cadet defense, as we talked about, they're going to swarm. They're really active to the ball with guys flying around out there. And Drew's one too. You don't see him a lot off the run, but he's a pretty, well, not only the length you talked about before, that, he's 6'4", 6'5", really good size, but can do some things with his feet as well.
So Bridenstine to his left. Gave him 2 on that. Now Bridenstine switches. Van Vliet. Here's a Bridenstine up the middle. And they'll probably give him 2, maybe 3. Just a little chunk yardage, make this a manageable 3rd down for the Trojans.
A really important possession here, too, after really getting the long, big play that the Cadets got. And for them to come back and answer, been a real positive drive. Started with the big push with the kickoff return.
So here's Van Vliet. Bridenstine his left. Dudek, Keating, and Duncan. Here's a fade pattern into the end, back of the end zone. Oh, great defensive play.
Like
but there is some laundry on the play, and they may get number 4, Jeremiah Love, maybe a little bit too handsy out there in the corner.
Yeah, and I think it wasn't so much on the pass breakup. I think it was prior to the ball, him making a play on the ball. I think he got his hand on him a bit. But that's to the Chatard's benefit, as this will push it inside the 10. We'll see where the final spot comes off. Looks like he's getting ready to mark it off now. But still, you saw some of the closing speed there and being able to bat that ball away. And this ball might even get right towards the 5. Looks like about the 7.
Dudek, a big target out there to try that play at 6'1".
You know, there's going to be probably a lot of what we're seeing tonight with Drew Van Vliet, quarterback here for Chatard, is being flushed out of the pocket a lot. Probably going to be making some more plays than he's used to off his feet, and maybe throwing some of these little out routes. You don't usually see him under center either, John, but here we are.
So 2-back set. Gives it to Bridenstine. Met immediately in the hole. That's Tyler Gant. Again, one of those oversized defensive linemen for this Cadets front 3.
And again, this is Christian Brothers College Prep out of St. Louis. For all of our viewers, there are 6 classes, just like Indiana in Missouri. And Christian Brothers is currently ranked number 1 in the state after winning the state championship last year in 2021.
Here's Van Vliet. Well, out here's Duncan. Oh, little chicanery. And, great defensive breakup there by Dorian DeBose.
Yeah, and it's almost one where you looked at even Dudek, Noah, becoming the defensive player there, knowing that he couldn't make the catch, and he stepped in there and actually knocked the ball down.
Yeah, more of a heads-up play.
Prevented the interception. See a little trickery there. You usually don't see a lot of that with Doyle's teams. This is my 3rd game with them this year, and that's the first time that I've seen them pull something like that out. But you got to love the call and keeping them, again, honest on defense.
So there's Van Vliet in the gun. We'll look to his right. There's a fade pattern, and just too far. Looking for Dudek again. Lucas McAllister was with him stride for stride there.
And here you got, you're talking about McAllister as the safety. He's 6'1", 195 as a safety, Got a lot of good size across the board with this Cadet defense.
So the Trojans will look to put 3 on the board. Jasper Chapman, see if he can connect here. Snap is back, hold, kick is up, and the kick is good. So 3 points.
Got a
and there is, there was some laundry on the other side of the field there.
This will be interesting if this is against the Cadets, if Doyle might change his call here. And it is offsides on the Cadets. Decline, though. To take the points and move forward. So
with 4:09 left in the first quarter, it's Christian Brothers 6, Chatard 3. You're watching high school football on IndianaSRN.
We encourage you to follow us on Twitter at IndianaSRN. Find upcoming games, video highlights, and much more. Follow us now at IndianaSRN.
Back at Alumni Field on a beautiful Friday night for some high school football. Alongside my broadcast partner, Craig Cox, I'm John Cupo. It's Christian Brothers from St. Louis 6, the Bishop Chatard Trojans 3. A nice answer from the Trojans after a quick strike from the Cadets. early in the contest.
Our first look here at the Cadets return game. A beautiful evening here.
And just kind of pooches it up there. And the return, and not much doing.
Looks like that was it McClellan?
That was Jeremiah McClellan. Yeah. Didn't get much going.
I think he might have been even a little surprised by the return.
Yeah,
when he caught it, he
wasn't expecting that.
He looked right, and but we know that this young man knows what to do with the ball, as he was the recipient of the 52-yard touchdown pass on their last possession from McKee.
So the Cadets will set up on their own 27 with Cole McKee in the gun. Jeremiah Love to his left. Now flanks out. And it's tossed to Love. But sometimes gets good blocking by his receivers. Gets some separation down the sideline. And great pitch and catch to number 4, Jeremiah Love. Just shoved out of bounds around the 43-yard line of the Trojans. But very simple. Great blocking from the Cadet receivers there on that pass play.
Yeah, about 31 on the play for them here.
So now it's Love on the carry. Goes behind that big offensive line, gets down to about the 38.
And as far as skill set positions, Love is one that has the best balance of all their players, both with the receiving and passing game.
6'2", 195. Here's Ralph Dixon. Breaks a tackle, gets down to about the 25, 24-yard line. Just ran behind that big left side of the line, got behind his tackle and his guard there, Levi McGee and Bryce Parson.
Yeah, what great vision there, and being able to stick his foot in the ground and really make a strong cut.
Cadets are going quick. Here's a pass out into the flat. And that's Corey Sims, his first reception of the day. He'll be close to the first down marker, maybe a yard short.
And although that, we talked about how McClellan has gotten the strong lion's share of the receptions this year, but there's been about 11 different receivers that have had catches throughout the year. So McKee's got a lot that he can go to as we get a penalty here.
That's going to be on number 6'8", Levi McGee. So that'll push the Cadets back.
One interesting thing that we discovered in Christian Brothers coming to town is the state of Missouri also has 8-man football, not just 11-man. So that's something that we don't have here in Indiana.
Here's Love up the middle. Good defense, tackled by number 64, Tristan Espeslet.
You see, too, what the Cadet offense is really, throwing some of these. They scored off the long vertical, but hitting some of these little out routes and hitches, and then hitting you with a few runs. And so we talked about the balance that they'll provide.
Here's Dixon. Good pressure by the Trojans.
Yeah, really good.
That was Jeff Waugh who got in there immediately to stop that.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, if they can handle that, then it becomes a little – I'm not going to say easy, but it puts them in a position where they understand that they can maintain the run better, and they can try to neutralize that with more of the defense against the pass.
So Scott Pingle keeps his offense out there. Here's McKee. Fires to the right. Man wide open. Upended by Keating. But that was a completion to Dakota Mayo, and that'll be good for a Cadets first down. Cadets moving quick here. Here's McKee. Over the middle. Touchdown! That was Jared Stewart, and just like you said, Craig, the main guy on this offense is Jeremiah McClellan, but just a lot of different guys who can find their way around the field, and that one was good for 6 for Jared Stewart.
No, great route. Really at the top of his route, put himself in a position for great separation, and that's his first touchdown of the year too. So it is. There's a lot of players they can throw at you and spreading it around.
So here's Kasich for the extra point. And he nails this one through. So a quick drive by the Cadets to make it 13-3. You're watching high school football right here on Indiana SRN.
Good.
Can't get to a computer? Then we've got you covered. Just go to the IndianaSRN app and stay up to date with all of your favorite teams. You can watch live coverage or relive the experience with our on-demand service.
And a quick touchdown over the middle for the Christian Brothers Cadets to make this a 13-3 contest here on a beautiful Friday evening. Sends it deep. And that's going to roll into the end zone. So the Trojans will set up shop at their own 25. Let's have a look at that last touchdown.
There we go, lined up out here in the slot and just comes in, makes top end of this, runs quick slant and let him. And DB just let him get to the inside. Wasn't able to make the break that up. And again, ends up getting his first touchdown of the season. That's Jared Stewart.
So at the 20. I was apparently in my college mode there, so I apologize. So Van Vliet from the gun. Bridenstine to his left. He'll roll. There's Keating, completion. And
come back from a hold, I think is what we might get here.
That flag was in the vicinity. Someone had a hold of someone's jersey. That's going to bring this back 10.
Oh, defensive.
Well, defensive holding, okay.
Defensive holding called against the Cadets.
Can ask our officiating crew to throw the flags where I get a little bit of better understanding what's happening, but good call. So that's going to keep it first down. That'll move it up to about the 30-yard line.
Like he was getting ready to mark it off even. Again, I thought they had already marked it.
Well, he's been at the 29, the 30, and the 28, so a little Russian roulette here, and we'll place it at the 30. So it'll be 1st and 10 for the Trojans. Van Vliet in the gun, Bridenstine to his left. Trips formation to the right.
First down, ball on the 30-yard line.
Look over to Rob Doyle. Van Vliet changing the play. Here's a snap. It's to Bridenstine, straight up the middle. Met immediately. And basically about 2/5 of the Cadets there to meet him in the hole.
Yeah, it looked like Michael Thiessen was the first one there to get him. Another linebacker at 6'2", 225.
You mentioned it, Craig, just height, weight, and speed all across this Cadets defense.
Yeah, during the break, you were talking about even on the DBs, outside of one of them that's 5'10", 5'11", all of them 6'1", 6'2", 6'2", 6 foot. I mean,
here's Van Vliet, rolls to his right and overshoots his receiver, Aiden Duncan. So that's going to bring up 3rd and 9.
Been pretty impressive too. You know, even look up in the stands and you see the visiting bleachers, and you know, they got a pretty decent little crowd, you know, that have followed them to understand that they drove 4 hours for the game and naturally 4 hours to get back. So great commitment there. But this is a strong, you know, storied program, if you will, that has great following. But kudos to them and their athletic department, and you know, you can tell the school pride and spirit is certainly good and flowing at Christian Brothers College Prep.
Very much so. So Drew Van Vliet and Rob Doyle want to talk it over. They're going to take a timeout, and so will we. We'll be back here to Alumni Field. You're watching high school football on IndianaSRN.
From warehousing to transportation and everything in between, Piper Logistics does it all. Centrally located, Piper Logistics has 2 warehouses in Indianapolis and a warehouse in Cincinnati, Ohio. Piper Logistics houses over 1 million square feet. Along with our transportation department, we can provide service to half the United States markets.
Can't get to a computer? Then we've got you covered. Just go to the IndianaSRN app and stay up to date with all of your favorite teams. You can watch live coverage or relive the experience with our on-demand service.
Serenity Care Services is an Indiana licensed personal agency and Medicare waiver service provider in Central Indiana. We are the friendly, competent, experienced team of caregivers you've been seeking. Contact us today at serenitycareservices.net. Here's Van Vliet and the gun. Fires deep. There's Duncan. And nothing doing.
Yeah, it looked like that there was a little bit of hand action, but again, maybe tough for the official to see. I think it was a situation that you had Aiden Duncan that was really looking for the ref or the official for some help there, but nonetheless, no flag on the play, and it'll set up 4th down here for the Trojans.
Coverage by Dorian DeBose. And it will set up a punt for the Trojans. Aiden Duncan, the receiver. It's away.
I was going to say, I think it went right into his own teammate.
Oh, no.
Saw that with, who was that, the Dolphins the other?
The
Dolphins on Sunday.
Week.
Yeah. I know it brought up a lot of conversation with the butt fumble in terms of with Mark Sanchez back with the Jets. But
let's take a look at what happened here. There's a snap. And just into the back of his deep man there.
Well,
unfortunate break for the Trojans on that one.
It is, because it puts the Cadets in a position where they have a very short field already in the red zone, and we've seen what they've been able to do with the precision of their offense to this point.
So there's Ralph Dixon. Follow that left side of the line. Gets to about we'll see where they mark it here.
They get about 4, maybe 5 on the play. We
so
talked about
13.
Yeah, we talked about too, where they have 3 backs that they'll really primarily throw at you, and they share it up pretty well. And these are all pretty elusive runners.
Well, it's Jason Wiley now. Here's Dixon running to the left. Gets to about the 10-yard line. So Coach Scott Pingle throwing a little wrinkle into the Cadets offense with the sophomore Jason Wiley. 6'1", 170. And that's going to be the end of the first quarter. It's a Christian Brothers Cadets 13, the Bishop Chatard Trojans 3. We'll take a break ourselves. You're watching high school football right here on IndianaSRN.
Needing to hire someone to take care of your loved one when you're away? Maybe your family member just needs someone to talk to when you're not around. Why not contact Indiana licensed Serenity Care Services? Call Angela, owner of Serenity Care Services, at 317-900-6202. Our team of trained and experienced personal care providers are licensed to serve seniors requiring companion care and light housekeeping services in Indianapolis and its 5 surrounding counties. Call us today at 317-900-6202. Now hiring qualified applicants.
For more than 6 years, Telemetry Sports has been working with NFL and multiple college football teams as a data and technology provider, player speeds and acceleration. They provide us, generated using computer vision, the same technology as autonomous vehicles. As you watch these players, keep in mind that over 18 miles per hour is very fast and impressive for a high school and college athlete. So it's 1st and goal. Here's Wiley. The direct snap in Wildcat formation gets down to about the 5-yard line. Nope, that was Jeremiah McClellan. Doing a little bit of everything here in the first half.
Looks like they're going to remain in it as well.
So it's 1st and goal at the Trojans 6. Here's McClellan again. Surveys and makes a great move and just powers his way into the end zone for 6.
Yeah, what great patience there by Jeremiah too. Let's see if we can get this on replay, but it's one of those things where he really got the snap there and really saw that the hole that he was going to take kind of collapsed. As we get the replay here, you'll see it. He sees it collapse, and then he's just patient and waits, and then bounces it to the outside and just lowers the shoulder here. But really good patient run there for him, and great read.
Also got to give credit to number 87, Jackson Cole, on that great block from his tight end position to seal that run in for McClellan. So the extra point is good by Simon Kasich. That makes it 20-3. Christian Brothers over Chatard. A great atmosphere for breakfast or brunch, open Wednesday through Sunday from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. It's Tam's Sweet and Savory Cafe. Tammy and her staff are waiting to serve you and your family. Try the biscuits and gravy or a quiche. And our own coach, Keith Myers, highly recommends the BLT. Tam's located at 6427 Oaklandon Road in Indianapolis. So, Craig, you're down 20-3. There's 11:41 left in the first half for the Trojans. You have to get something here, whether it's 3, whether it's 7. You have to get a long, sustaining drive here, build some confidence up against this very good Cadets team.
Yeah, you do. I mean, obviously, Christian Brothers came out on their first possession and scored on the second play. But Chatard answered it, even though it wasn't with 7, but answered it with 3. Came up empty-handed the last 2. We'll see what they might be able to do with this one. But you do got to try to be in a position where you can stop the bleeding with just the second play of the second quarter here to be able to answer it again. And, you know, it's a night here like tonight that field goals just aren't going to be the answer. You got to put up the touchdowns against a team like the Cadets.
So we'll see what the Trojans can do on this kickoff. It's away.
Another little short one.
Pooch.
Oh, and they got it.
He touched it, and it just went out of bounds. Well, that was risky business, Tom Cruise style on that one. Trojans got a hand on it, and it looked like the Cadets were going to be able to recover it, but it did go out of bounds. So the Trojans will set up shop on their own 35 or make it the 37. So Drew Van Vliet is going to try to guide this Trojans offense. 65 yards down the field. See if they can get a quick score here with 11:39 remaining in the first half.
Well, as much as the D-line has been getting pushes here for the Cadets, you know, Drew's going to probably be flush from the pocket and be forced to make some plays outside.
So hands off to Bridenstine. Over to the right. Met immediately. Was Lucas McAllister from a safety position. Gain of about 4. Brings up 2nd and 6. Greg, you mentioned earlier, nothing wrong doing and getting some chunk yardage. Set up manageable third downs here. Here's Van Vliet. He'll roll to his left, out in the flat. Has his receiver. And that was Keating. Gets pushed out of bounds.
About 5. Looks like set up maybe 3rd and 1, I believe.
It'll be a 3rd and a short 1.
This is where you can probably expect to see a blitz from the Cadets. I'm sure they're going to be bringing some of this here, and might be a good time, you know, to see what they're already presenting and getting something outside the pocket with a pass.
Here's Van Vliet. Hands off to Bridenstine. Gets through, and it's going to be
Enough.
close.
I think he just got enough.
So they will give them 2. That's good enough for a Trojans first down.
And they need that. Not only keep, you know, the chains moving, but again, one thing you get behind early like this as a staff, you just got to keep your kids encouraged, keep them plugging away, and understand that sometimes you're even playing for something bigger than the possession that you have, or even the game for that matter.
Here's Van Vliet. Drop back. Now scrambles. And he'll take it himself. He'll hold on to it. Smart play. Gets out of bounds. Stops the clock.
A penalty here.
That play might be a late hit.
Yeah, I think so. It might be on 23. Trying to make out the number, but I think that might have been Franklin again, maybe. Looks like he already got about 5 or 6 possibly on the play, but if this holds up and what we think it might be, it could be an additional 15 here. She'll put the ball inside the 35.
So they're discussing it. And let's see what the call is.
Oh. Oh, yeah, it's going to replay offset and replay the down.
So the holding on the Trojans is going to offset the personal foul for the late hit out of bounds. So we'll just reset and do it over.
But I like what Drew was able to do there and dropping back, made a good decision. His receivers were covered and getting out of the pocket and just making some things positive happen with his feet. Got 6 off that, even though it was negated by the penalty. But things that you like to see in terms of playing well for this Trojan offense.
So we'll do it again. 10:38 left here in the first half. Christian Brothers Cadets 20. Bishop Chatard Trojans 3. It'll be 2nd and 5. Van Vliet in the gun. 3 receivers set to the right. 1 to the left.
It's like an official's timeout here. Not sure what there might be discussion, but if it's something about the clock, maybe. Oh, it looked like they on the dial or the down marker. They must have started 2nd down there. So changing that back to 1st. I think hearing the announcer there. I think it's 1st and 5.
All right. So the chain gang will get themselves situated here. We'll bring up 1st and 5 for the Trojans at the Cadets' 47-yard line. Reinstein in the backfield with Van Vliet. Man in motion, that's Keating. There's Van Vliet. Fires across the middle, has his man. Good completion. Hit
like
immediately.
Helmet,
yeah.
Even though it came in late,
Yep.
but you certainly saw that right away with helmet to helmet.
And he's down.
That was a direct hit there. Again, that's coming in from Kyan Franklin.
And we'll see what the severity of this is. Met immediately. It was
really nice.
Beautiful throw and catch.
Yeah, and threw it into traffic. What a great read there and a great route to be able to come down with that. Certainly hope that anytime you see something like this, you certainly hope the young man's okay.
And not quite sure who that was on the reception quite yet, but
I didn't tell if it was Dudek or Duncan there, but
so we'll wait and see. What the severity of this penalty will be. He's up.
And actually,
that
it
is
looks
Aiden
like
Duncan.
Yep. More of their leading receiver. And
he's walking off, and that's always a good sign. But he'll have to definitely double check him. Had a very unfortunate incident in last night's Thursday night football game. We saw a situation like
tough.
this, and it's always player safety first.
It is, and you hate to see it on any level. And that one last night was a little odd at first when I was watching that. The way he came up with his fingers, I thought it was like maybe a broken finger or something. But they said it was more neurological.
Yeah.
They say that's something that happens a lot, that you just kind of get stiff and kind of locked, and certainly hoping that Tua is okay, and even right here with Aiden Duncan. Sure, go through the training staff and with some protocols there, and so walking off this 15 yards is going to put it inside the red zone here for the Trojans, about the 18 or 17 it looks like. Oh, we're just
getting word that Kyan Franklin, number 23, has been ejected from this game. Kyan Franklin having a great game up until this point and made a mistake. And it'll cost him, and it'll also cost his cadet defense. So everybody will try to regroup, get back into it mentally. Here's Van Vliet out in the flat to Bridenstine. Has some room. Gets down to about the 13-yard line. Tackle made by Wyatt Haverstick.
A good job here in the flats, by Joe. And seeing the seam get some positive yards. Looks like about maybe 5, give him 4.
So they'll mark it at the 14. Bring up 2nd and 5. Van Vliet in the gun. Bridenstine in his sidecar. There's a snap. Pressure from the left. Here's Bridenstine. Makes a completion. Breaks a couple tackles. And gets down to about the 7-8 yard line. Bridenstine was dead to rights, but able to juke a tackle and break it.
Yeah, you really saw that the cadet defender was really in a position to really close that out well, but chose to not wrap him up and try to just land a shoulder. And so many times you'll see guys, especially with someone like Joe, is low center of gravity, is going to bounce off that pretty well. So you really got to use technique and wrap the arms.
So here's Van Vliet.
And there we see it, the wrap of the arms.
So that was the Jeff Waugh. Immediately met by Santino Hendricks.
This is bringing a 4th and 1 here.
So we'll see what Rob Doyle has dialed up, clearly going for it in 4th down.
You expect to see the pressure from the cadets.
And you can see it.
Almost got about 9, 8 in the box.
9 in the box, and it looks like they got him. It did. Came from that right side.
Those are things that'll get your D coordinators too. It's just mental, watch the ball type of things. But, can't blame them to a certain extent. These guys, young guys, are certainly anxious and to make a play, but went on that hard count, and Drew got him.
That was Amir Ellis, so that'll set up 1st and goal at the 4. Fresh set of downs for the Trojans. Dudek to the right. And off to Bridenstine up the middle. And he'll get down to about the 2.
A really good job there. Positive yards. Looks like just inside the 2.
Greg, we mentioned exactly the drive that the Trojans need here, and now they just have to capitalize.
Yeah, you got to think about ball security when you get down here. You don't want anything silly to happen when you're this close and on the verge of
handled
scoring.
Snap, and that caused some confusion in the backfield. And it was Michael Teason who ate it up.
And it was
dropped Bridenstine for a loss.
Almost like Drew kind of bobbled the snap a little bit, which caused a little bit of the delay with that handoff on the timing. And bring up 3rd down here with no gain.
And I would definitely think that this is 4-down territory for the Trojan offense.
That's how I really like to see Drew get out of the pocket here. And if you don't have something here, then make something happen with your feet, because it's really hard on these A gaps with this size.
There's Van Vliet out to the flat, and that's a touchdown. Yep. Jeff Waugh came across the left side of the field. Van Vliet nailed him in stride. And that's good for 6. Great drive by the Trojans.
Yeah, it was. I mean, used a little bit of clock, about 3.5 minutes, but did a really good job, and got a little bit of help with a couple costing penalties, which gave them like 30 yards of field position, but did what they needed to do and answered it this time with a touchdown and not a field goal.
So here's Jasper Chapman for the extra point. Snap is back, kick is up, and the kick is good. So the Trojans answer nicely on a long drive for 7 points to make it 20-10. We'll take a break. You're watching high school football on IndianaSRN.
Bertner Electric Incorporated has been proudly serving our residential and commercial customers with quality electrical repair for over 33 years. We are fully licensed and insured in electrical wiring and electrician service packages. You'll receive a competitive assessment, whether you're a homeowner or a business owner, first-time or long-time customer. We offer free estimates for any new project. Call our licensed and experienced electricians today.
Can't make it to the game? We've got your back. Just go to www.IndianaSRN.org and tune in to all of the live action, or go to our on-demand service and relive your favorite moments.
(20-10) at Alumni Field, here on the corner of Crittenden and Kessler. Christian Brothers Cadets from St. Louis, Missouri, ahead of the Bishop Chatard Trojans.
See if they might try the pooch here, John.
Yeah, they put it up. And fielded at the 28, breaks a tackle, runs into the middle. And just a bunch of blue jerseys to bring him down right around the 38-yard line.
We've seen a lot of short kicks here tonight, and we get the replay here. Great job here. A little crossing route come from the opposite side of the field here to get the score. And again, we mentioned about how important that drive was, especially before half. But the thing you got to do now in playing from behind is not only answer and get scores, but then follow that up with stops as well.
Well, that was a long drive, kept the Trojans defense on the sideline, and movement on the left side of the line for the Cadets. Looked like Bryce Parson.
We've been seeing quite a few penalties now. That's the fourth that's drawn on the Cadet offense and defense over the last 6 plays. So things you got to try to shore up there, and certainly those are the mental ones.
So it's Jason Wiley in the gun. Here's a handoff up the middle. Good gain on first down. It's Dylan Van. And we have some extracurricular activity. There's Bryce Parson, and looks like Luke Pariccia is involved in that. We'll see what this is.
And Van's one that we haven't talked about as much tonight as we get a holding call here against the
personal
foul
on the Trojans.
But Van is the one that has really received most of the carries up until this game. But tonight we've seen a little bit more of Dixon and Love. But again, we talked about how they will find some balance and spread this around. And what a great luxury that it is for Coach Pingle and his staff to be able to have not one, not two, but three that you can rely on. And not just from a standpoint of injury, but being able to keep these guys fresh throughout the game is so important.
So this is going to move it all the way to about the 43 of the Trojans after the personal foul penalty. It's Jason Wiley. Hands it off to Van to the right side. Makes a great move. Gets to the 30 and cuts back into the 20. 10-5 touchdown. Just pure speed by Dylan Van.
Yeah, great job there. Made him bite. Again, sticking that foot in the ground, made the defender of Chatard really bite to the inside, and then he just bounced. And then at that point, it's more like just speed kills. You can just see the acceleration as he ran through the only other defender that Chatard had to make a play there before the score.
So Simon Kasich here to try the extra point to make it 27-10. Kick is up. And that took a while to get there, but it is good.
Well, what didn't take a while is for them to answer right back.
That's right.
John? It's like 27 seconds.
Exactly. Chatard puts together a long drive, eats up a lot of clock, answers back, which what they needed was a score. And then Christian Brothers, like a lightning bolt, just scores real quick. Dylan Van.
28 seconds.
So we'll keep it here as Christian Brothers College High School in St. Louis, Missouri lead the Bishop Chatard Trojans here in Indianapolis. 27-10, 7:39 left in the first half, second quarter. And you had mentioned it, Craig, is that just look at the turnout there. You can see it. Lots of purple and gold up there on the visiting side, making the 4-hour drive up 70. Come over to watch their cadets.
Yeah, and it's always interesting, too, when you play teams from out of state. We've mentioned it twice already about just the unfamiliarity, but what a great opportunity for these young men to be able to kind of experience what football is like in another state. It's one of those things to where it's not so much the turf wars and your local area, but I think it's always good for that. And of course, and Christian Brothers here in a couple of weeks will be hosting one of our own in Warren Central.
So here's a kick, and it's deep, and off the chest, and it's going to be probably out to the 33-yard line.
It's like Colin Guy on the return there.
Oh, they'll give him the 37. So we'll take a look at this long run.
As we talked about here,
there you go.
With Dylan Van coming here, just hits him with that foot, makes Colin Guy bite, and then it's acceleration from there with Dylan running that to the house.
Yeah, once he got Colin Guy to bite there, it was pay dirt. So here's the Trojans. And they're going to have to do exactly what they did on the last drive. Hand it off to Bridenstine up the middle. But that cadet defense just swarms. About 3 jerseys in there for the tackle. Here's Van Vliet. And here's Bridenstine to the right. Breaks a tackle. Pushes his way forward. Good run.
A really good job by Joe there of getting some yards after the contact, which probably give him 3 or 4 after that. So really good job. Hard runner. He's only a junior. 5'8", 185.
You mentioned it, Craig, that low center of gravity. Hard to get to his waist to bring him down. Keeps churning those legs. It's good for a Trojans' first down.
And again, you're still fine. I mean, this game could easily get away from you, but with answers, again, they're right back in this with a score and making it a 2-possession game.
Here's Van Vliet, rolls to his left, now fires, and it's incomplete. Was looking for Colin Guy, got the turf before it got into his hands. Yeah, incomplete.
Had his guy, but one of those things kind of threw it on the back foot.
Yeah, we got a penalty, I think.
Oh, well, this one came in late, but nonetheless still there, and we'll see what
we have here.
Ineligible downfield by the Trojans.
That came in awfully late.
Yeah, it did. We were already talking about the next play and then seeing the flag come in as they were already almost back to the line with the no huddle.
A little surprised at that, but unfortunate for the Trojans. So that'll set them back 5. We're at the 42.
First and 15 for the Trojans.
So it'll be 1st and 15. It's going to be an empty backfield for Van Vliet. 4-receiver set. Here's a snap. And a quick out. Here's Dudek. Has some blocking, but once again, Deshaun Richmond was able there to stop it, but just a couple of white jerseys there to meet him. Stop that momentum.
Yeah, got great instinct in reading these holes in the way that they are. And the thing that you talked about in the pregame, John, was, hey, it's one of these guys that's making the hit. And if they're not making the tackle, they're slowing you down momentarily for 3 or 4 other guys to get their hats on this ball.
So they'll give them 2 on that. And big hit, but kept moving forward. That's Charlie Asley.
Another situation you see there in a prime example of really trying to make the the hits or deliver the blows without using the technique. And that's the third time that we've seen the cadet defense do that, where they've had them for very minimal gain, if not losses, and just trying to lower the shoulder instead of shooting the arms and really wrapping their guys up. Otherwise, they're just giving some positive yards to the Trojans.
A good second effort by the senior. So here's Van Vliet on 3rd and 7. Drops back, has a clean pocket, over the middle, and he's got his man. It's Keating, 20, 15, 10, 5, and he falls into the...
Oh, wow.
And they're just going to mark him short.
Oh, wow. Surely looked like that was that he was in there, but what a strike by Van Vliet and Keating. What a great route there, and then making the yards after the catch was a great job there.
Keating comes up hobbling a little bit, but what a great pitch and strike.
Yeah, and coming at the right time, too, where once again the Cadets came and had a 28-second score after Chatard just scored a touchdown, and they're answering right back. So this is just building confidence.
So here's Van Vliet under center. We don't see it much. There's Bridenstine, gets the handoff straight up the middle, and that's going to be good for 6. Just power football. Touchdown, Trojans. So let's take a look how all this was set up.
Beat the safety here on the top, and let's see if we. Oh yeah, good call by the official there. When it was live, it really looked like I didn't see the knee, but his right knee did come down there. So again, great call.
Kick is up and good by Jasper Chapman. So on the quick score by Christian Brothers, Chatard takes a little bit more time but answers back. 27-17, you're watching high school football right here on IndianaSRN.
You want a career that will transform your life while you change the lives of others by helping them live well. With a health or exercise sciences degree from IUPUI School of Health and Human Sciences, you will gain an in-depth understanding of the healthcare industry while preparing you for a variety of graduate and professional programs in health. And with Indy as your classroom, you will have clinical options within leading hospitals right in our backyard, as well as a degree from Indiana University, reputable leaders in the healthcare industry. It all starts here.
Can't get to a computer? Then we've got you covered. Just go to the IndianaSRN app and stay up to date with all of your favorite teams. You can watch live coverage or relive the experience with our on-demand service.
(27-17), it's St. Louis over Indianapolis. Nice drive and score by the Bishop Chatard offense. Here's the kick, and it's up. And again, takes a bounce, fielded at the 22. And he'll get to about the 30 in a swarm of blue jerseys. Stands him up. Dakota Mayo.
We're going to spot it here about the 31.
So it'll be 1st and 10 for the Cadets at their own 31. And I guess, Craig, what it leaves to be seen here is how quick or can the defense of the Trojans do something to stop it?
Well, and that's been the thing. They got to be able to, the defense has to be able to get off the field.
It's Cole McKee. Jeremiah Love just powers his way to about the 38, 39-yard line.
Looks like him about 8 on that play.
It's good power football, finding the right side of that line. Again, 6'2", 275 for Bo Brown, 6'7", 280 for Josh Gregory. They'll move quick. Here's Dixon to the right side, has speed, makes a cut to the middle, still going to the 30, down to about the 28. Tripped up there by Sam Feeney.
About 29 on the carry.
They do it fast, they do it quick, they do it with power. Here's McKee in the gun. Out to the slot. That's the Corey Sims. He'll power his way forward, and I think that'll be good enough for a Cadet first down, and it is.
And that, you talked about it, they do it quick and do it speed and power, but they also do it with balance. I mean, you're seeing some of that now. But I tell you that the thing that they have a lot of elusive players, especially at these skill set positions. That's hard to defend.
Here's McKee. Has his receiver, makes a cut to the inside, breaks a tackle. Dakota Mayo. Craig, it's just a matter of who do you stop? I mean, who can you cover?
Yeah, there's a lot of guys.
You can't focus on one guy because everybody's doing a little bit of something here for the Cadet offense.
I got great depth.
That's out to the flat. Breaks a tackle. And will they give it to him? No, they're just going to come up short. That was Jeremiah McClellan. Already has a receiving touchdown on the day and also a running touchdown. Looking for the hat trick. 4:09 left here in the first half. Clock runs. Here's McKee. Handoff. Straight up the middle. And they give it to him. So Jeremiah Love gets into the scoring column on a short 1-yard touchdown scamper. Just power football. Got behind his big offensive line there. Bryce Parson, Levi McGee.
I mean, the scoring is just happening so quick. I mean, Chatard's got to find a way to get their defense off the field. I mean, the last one they scored in 28 seconds. This one they're scoring in 1:23. Lot of firepower that the Cadets have, and I'm sure Coach Doyle and the defense will be looking at what adjustments they can make at half as we still have 4 minutes to go here in the second quarter. And the replay coming here to you. Kind of textbook here. Just give power game and get a good push in here.
So as quickly as we started to drive, the Cadets answer very quickly to make this a 34-17 contest with 4:01 left here in the second quarter. On a beautiful night at Alumni Field here at Bishop Chatard High School.
And special shouts to the athletic department and just the whole community of Bishop Chatard. I'll tell you, what they've done on their campus with their athletic grounds has been nothing short of phenomenal. I just remember 4 or 5 years ago where much of this wasn't here. They had a practice field. Turf has become so common with a lot of your schools, but the press box and the bleachers and the adding of the baseball field and the athletic compound that they've done there at Bishop Chatard has just been wonderful, and what a great environment that it is for the Trojan community.
Class organization all the way around. So here's the kick. Straight up, fielded at the 15. That's Keating. Gets it out to about the 32. So as they've done on the past 2 drives, the Trojans will have to construct a drive here with 3 minutes and 56 seconds left here in the first half to put some more points on the board, keep this at a 10-point game. They've been able to do that. Craig, what we've noticed is that the loss of Kyan Franklin has kind of slowed down this Cadet defense.
It is. It's presented a few more holes, too, for the Trojan offense.
Here's Van Vliet, rolls across the middle, and just through behind Jeff Waugh. So that'll stop the clock with 3:52 left. We'll bring up 2nd and 10.
Too with Franklin out of there, as you mentioned, too, that's how they ended up getting the long ball with Keating over the middle there, too. So we'll see if that's an area that the Trojans might try to expose a bit.
So it'll be 2nd and 10. Van Vliet, Reinstein to his right. He'll roll. Now he'll scramble a little bit. Finds a gap. Here's Van Vliet. Nice run. Good awareness. Gets out to about the 41.
He'll be just short, it looks like. Maybe about a half yard. They'll bring up 3rd down. Looks like it's just inside of a yard.
A good awareness by the senior. Didn't have anything down the field. Took off by himself using his legs. Clock continues to run. One motion. Here's a snap to Bridenstine. Left side. And just can't get anything going. There is a penalty on the play.
And, when you run those stretch plays like that with a team that's very athletic, as we'll get a holding against Chatard here, which will even make it tougher call with them here on third down. But just hard to really run a stretch play to the short side of the field with such a highly athletic team. And play takes a long time to develop, and when it stretches that far too, you're susceptible to what happened there, and that is a hold.
So that's going to push the Trojans back even farther. They had 3rd and 1, now it'll be 3rd and 11.
And this will be a little bit of a difference in terms of play call, where it would have been about 4th and 2, maybe 4th and 3. You want to try to at least get yourself to where you're getting about 8 or 9 of this back to get you a little bit closer, to midfield, but it's still going to be a tough call without converting this third down to try to go for it and having Christian Brothers play with such a short field.
So here's Van Vliet. Here's a snap. Rolls to his right. And it just airs, and just a bunch of white jerseys to meet him. And that's going to be about a 3-person sack. McClellan just everywhere for these cadets.
Yeah, and you see some of their skill set players. There's 2 or 3 of them that play both sides of the ball, which sometimes is a little bit, at least in Indiana, is a little bit rare to where you're seeing a bigger program to where your skill set guys are on both sides of the ball.
Sean Carbons and Tyler Gant also in there for the sack. And that'll bring up 4th and a country mile for the Trojans. 2:36 left.
And it'll probably put the cadets in a position, too, where they're going to have the ball in Trojan territory, I would imagine. You're kicking this inside your own 10. And there's still quite a bit of time to operate with when we see that the cadet offense doesn't need much time of that.
No, 2:36 is an eternity for this cadets offense. We talk about 2-minute offense all the time. They run the 30-second offense. So that was a timeout by Christian Brothers. I'm sure they're planning their offensive series here, and dangerous territory. The last punt didn't end so well for the Trojans, so we'll see if we can get a good one away here. 2:36 left. And the punt is away.
Kind of went off.
And
nice
fair
punt,
caught. Good punt. Fair caught at about they'll say the 42.
Yeah, really nice punt.
There's a penalty on the play.
One that you see typically a lot with this is illegal, blocking the backs, and you don't see holds. And this one's a good 10 yards past the line of scrimmage.
So we'll discuss, and they'll go over to Coach Rob Doyle to see what it was about. It was against the Trojans.
And I'm sure they're certainly going to take this because, he had a really good punt there. Marched them back. What I thought they would have in Trojan territory, pushed it back to their own 42, but this will mark it back, and I'm sure they'll re-kick. No, he's declining it.
Well, the initial ruling, if my eyes deceive me, it looked like it was against Bishop Chatard, but legal hands to the face against the cadets, so they'll decline it because of the good distance on the punt. So it'll be 1st and 10 for Christian Brothers at their own 42. With 2:29 to work, which is an eternity for this offense. So here are the Cadets back on offense. It's Cole McKee. Here's a handoff to Jeremiah Love. And there's a fumble. Ball's loose.
That ball was down, though.
We'll see. And they're saying he was down.
Yeah, which is a good call. He reached out with the ball, and when it hit, Grant can't cause a fumble.
That was Jeremiah Love. Got to the 50. Here's McKee. Has his receiver. It's Jared Stewart. Has a touchdown to about the 43-yard line. You can see give him the 44. Cadets moving fast. Coming up on 2 minutes here. Here's McKee. Fires long. Has his man. Oh, right through his hands. He had Corey Sims in stride. And I think Sims saw the end zone but didn't quite corral that football. Went right between his hands.
Yeah, that was a great throw. Put it just like we saw on the deep ball. The first score to McClellan did the same thing there. But, yeah, got to be in a position where Corey's got to be able to follow that all the way into his own hands.
So bring up 2nd and 10. Here's McKee. Out to McClellan. Or no, sorry. That's Dakota Mayo. Makes his way to about the 31.
Tell you what, the weapons that this team has is just run them in and out.
And Craig, it's the amount of yards that they're getting on these plays. It's not 3-4 yards per gain. It's first down. It's 15,
it's
16, 20 yards.
Yeah. They come in chunks like that. I mean, you're scoring so quickly. Just the time of possession, can be, a lot of times you can see people that'll just wear you down in terms of the score is you can say a lot of times who possess the ball the most. But at the end of the day, not the case with the Cadets where they can just score so quickly. And I think the Chatard has had, 3 of their scoring drives with the field goal and the 2 touchdowns have been longer than anything that Christian Brothers has had here tonight.
Yeah, looking with 1:53 left here in the first half. Christian Brothers looking to put up 40 here in the first half. So we'll see what Scott Pingle and his Cadets draw up here. 1st and 10. Christian Brothers Cadets doubled up on Chatard here, 34-17 on a beautiful night at Alumni Field on the corner of Crittenden and Kessler. And there was a reason for this break as we have a player down on the field, but looks like it's a cramping issue. Of course, can never be too sure. Take as much time as you need. Make sure that young man is okay. So we know that these high school staffs put in a lot of effort for their kids. Make sure they're at 100% before they even touch the field.
I just talked to about, through the safety of the game and how it's evolved over the last 5 to 10 years. And on top of that, just a credit to all the schools and the IHSAA in terms of, the medical staff. It's not just one trainer. You got team doctors and exercise physiologists and, the way that, that these student athletes are trained nowadays, with diet and nutrition and just all that they're doing. And starting to really get back to a sense of normalcy. I'm sure it's much in the same with the state of Missouri with Christian Brothers as well, and having a full summer of training and camp and before the season started.
Here's Jeremiah Love, gets to the outside with speed, and he's going to just waltz into the end zone.
This young man makes it look easy, doesn't he?
I feel that we're at the 2028 Los Angeles Olympics with this Cadets team, just so much speed. And it just took Jeremiah Love getting to the outside, just make one move, and then it's pay dirt for 6.
And the thing about it, we talk about the three-headed monsters that they have with their running backs. Jeremiah Love is the one that had the least amount of carries and the least amount of yards out of the three. But he's putting on a show here tonight.
So for the extra point to make it 41-17, the kick is up, and the kick is good. So that took about 40-some-odd seconds for the Cadets to score. And here it is.
And so, again, Jeremiah hits this again, bounces to the outside, and it's clockwork from there. He knew it at the 7-8 yard line.
And one thing, Craig, I mentioned it before, but the blocking by the receivers of this Cadets team is outstanding.
Great point there. Team effort, and it's not just the O-line, but it's the other skilled, and that's a great sign to show that at any given time it might be my turn. Next time it's going to be yours. And we talked about two other guys that have scored touchdowns tonight. That has been their first scores of the season for them. But they're in a great position where they are. Great point there, John, in terms of blocking downfield.
Well, when you look at this Cadets offense and you look at their two deep and everybody's getting involved, everybody has touched the ball.
Yeah, they spread it around. Yep, we talked about they had 11 receivers coming into this game that have had catches, and we had one that we had in having 2 receptions coming into this game that's had 2 here tonight, and that was Williams that have came in. So, I mean, it's one of those things where any given night, any given play with this team, they can throw so many at you.
It's a little pooch kick, and that's a – well, let's see. I'm going to guess that was kicked out by a Trojan there. But what a play. Just to think about what a play by the Cadets there.
Tried to tap it back in for his teammate to get it instead of trying to recover it. But you also got a question here. You're up 41-17 and kicking the onside too.
That's true.
At the same time, as we talked about earlier, a lot of times you're not playing just for the possession you have right now or even the game that you're in that given night. But sometimes you're playing for other scenarios throughout the season that you might be faced with. But it almost like it was onside kicked by design for a guy to go up and tap it back in for his teammate to recover.
So good field position for the Trojans. And unfortunately, they don't have a lot of time to work with here, so Van Vliet will have to move quick with 1:40 left. He'll drop back. Here's pressure. Fires to the outside, and
did he get his feet down? But I don't know if he had. Well,
and they'll call it complete to Jeff Waugh. Good concentration there.
Yeah, and his ability to get his feet down, too, was a great job.
Yeah, he had a mirror full of Amir Ellis coming right at him. But Van Vliet, as calm as he is, was able to get it out to Waugh. Good for Trojans' first down, 1:34. Stop the clock. Here's Van Vliet. Now he'll take off. Has a man. Here's Dudek. Makes a cut to the inside. Gets him down to about the 35-yard line.
Okay, about 24 there.
Good awareness there from Van Vliet. Dudek got into space, was able to sit down. Van Vliet found him. Clock continues to run.
You're going to get some movement here, I think, on this left guard, I believe. Certainly on that left side.
And that has been some sort of a trend here in the first half with the Trojans as they make a big play and there's some momentum and then a costly penalty.
And sometimes you'll see that too, especially with the hurry up and no huddle. You're kind of gassed from the last play and you're wanting that snap to happen to come off that ball with your block.
So 1st and 15 from the 40. Here's Van Vliet out to the outside. Here's Colin Guy. And he'll be brought down at about the, let's say, the 37-yard line of the Cadets. Clock continues to run. Now under a minute. Taking a lot of time here. So there's Van Vliet in the gun. Sets. Fires deep, and nobody there. There's a couple white jerseys.
That might have been a little bit of miscommunication. He was almost running more of a hitch there and thought he was running a go route. And
it was Dorian DeBose who had the best opportunity for that for the Cadets. But that'll stop the clock. 41 seconds left, 3rd and 12.
A couple other area scores at other games with SRN. Traders Point over Edinburgh, 14-0 late in the first quarter, and Mount Vernon 9-0 over Newcastle, also late in the first quarter.
So here's Van Vliet. Some pressure. Works in the pocket. Being chased. Gets rid of it. And just overshoots his receiver, Keating. Out of bounds. Well, he'll stop the clock at 34 seconds.
Yeah, good job there by Drew in terms of having a pocket presence and understanding the time that he might have in order to throw that. Maybe felt a little bit of the pressure from the backside there coming, but really good pocket presence there in throwing that ball at a position to where either one, his receiver makes the play or it's thrown out of bounds. So good job in not taking the sack.
Want to make a note here. Good to see Ryan Keating back on the field. Tended to him. So it's 4th and 12. Here's Van Vliet. Lots of pressure. Just tosses it out of bounds.
That one again, just like the last play, understanding, not to take that sack. But it still brings up 4th and 12. And I'll tell you, John, 29 seconds might be enough for Christian Brothers as well.
I'll be very interested to see what Scott Pingle does on this 1st and 10. In their half of the field, but lots of weapons to work with here.
Tell you, Pingle's one too that's not a stranger in terms of the receiver game. He was the first one in NCAA history as a receiver at Division III Westminster College to amass 2,000 yards in a season from a receiver standpoint. Got signed on as a free agent with Buffalo and later cut, but had a great career himself collegiately.
So they will attempt to make some plays here. Was Jason Wiley to Jeremiah McClellan. And I think at this point we're pretty sure that Christian Brothers is looking to make a statement here in Indianapolis. Here's Wiley in the pocket. Good protection. Now takes off. And brought down from behind. That was Nathan Meyer.
And you talked about Jason Wiley being in there, and he's no stranger to their offense. Been pretty balanced. He's a kid that has thrown over 450 yards on the season, and they have shared quite a few of the attempts. From a passing standpoint, he's thrown 44 coming into this game compared to McKee's 53.
So it's a timeout by the Cadets. We'll keep it here with 16 seconds left. 2nd and 3.
You're just looking at that huddle there, John. You see 71 there with Gregory, 6'7", 260. I mean, it's just like how can you see guys at the high school level like we've seen here tonight. It has been pretty impressive.
And Craig, we kind of talked about it in one of the breaks is if we could get any information on whether any of these young men were going on to college or any commitments or getting offers. We couldn't find that information, but just by looking at them, I'm sure the mailman has been busy at a couple of these players' houses.
Yeah, and a lot of their skill set positions, too. They're pretty senior heavy as well.
So here's Wiley. Fires a deep ball. And, just in and out of the hands of Jeremiah McClellan. He had it.
Sure did. And well-thrown ball, too.
Very well-thrown ball. Maybe a Trojan got his hand in there to break that up. 10 seconds. So it'll be Wiley, the sophomore.
Looks like they're
Rolls
try
out.
to go deep again here,
Some
too.
pressure. And the Trojans are going to wrap him up. Good containment. Didn't let the sophomore get anywhere on that. That was a gang sack, so good defense by the Trojans.
The unfortunate thing is that they stopped with 2 seconds to go. Looks like they're going to call it off, though, here.
And that'll be it. So, the end of the first half. A couple charter buses came up from St. Louis, and they dropped off a team that put up 41 points in the first half. And the Bishop Chatard Trojans were able to mount 17, but find themselves in a hole here at the end of the first half. So, Craig, if you're Rob Doyle, and now you've seen what Christian Brothers has brought to the table. Didn't know much about him. This is the first meeting between the two. What is your message to your team? As a former coach, what's your message?
Well, I think a lot of it is just you got to stay true to what your pillars are. It's easy when you get in games like this. Your kids are down, and then you try to start pressing to make it play. Every play counts, but you got to keep the bigger picture in mind and thinking that you have to stay true to what you're grounded and how you're founded on. And you know, Rob and his staff do a great job in terms of they're highly disciplined. I think it's just a lot of it in a lot of ways, especially in the skill set positions. They're just outmatched in a lot of ways. But I think you stay true to who you are. And that is, you know, playing that play for what it is and looking at your next play, staying encouraged, and look around your brotherhood in terms of helping pick it up. So you got to look for your senior leadership and doing what you do and you know, a couple scores. I think the big thing is you got to get in a position where your defense is getting off the field.
You're not going to get 24 points back at one time, so you got to, again, sustain some drives, keep your defense off of the field. Now, if you're Christian Brothers, you put up 41 points. You're on pace for 82. Do you keep the pedal down?
Well, not being in a position where we've had a lot of data or information with this team being from St. Louis, but I can tell you with a half of a football that we saw, and you saw it here on the last possession, they're ones that feel like that they're on the gas. And the thing about it is there's not – I'm sure that there's some loss in terms of – players as you get in second and third, but this team has a lot of depth. They're throwing so many guys at, so you're really not losing a lot, especially in the skilled positions. But I don't anticipate seeing them let off much, and they're wound a lot by what they do offensively. But you know, you mentioned it earlier, John, in terms of with Kyan Franklin, his loss, their defense hasn't seemed to have been the same, but their offense certainly has.
So we're going to take a break at this halftime. It's Christian Brothers College High School from St. Louis, Missouri, leading the Bishop Chatard Trojans 41-17. You're watching high school football right here on IndianaSRN.
Football fans, welcome back to Friday night, to pure spirits, to pure sports. Welcome back to high school football.
Fans, I'm IHSAA Commissioner Paul Knighty, and I just want to say, welcome back!
This is Friday night. This is Indiana high school football. This is your IHSAA.
It's actually like a secret. I was raised about 20 miles from here and never even knew this place was here. We make NFL footballs year-round. We manufactured the ball for every Super Bowl, and every point scored in the NFL since 1941 has been scored with a Wilson football. Jane was the longest tenured employee when she retired.
I would get up at about 3:30 in the morning to be on the job at 5 a.m. I had to oil up my machine every day. I could sew about 150 footballs a day. A football is made from a big piece of leather. It's cut out like a cookie cutter, and that panel is split down to a certain size. They're stamped with a logo, and then there's a lining that's put on it to hold the shape of a ball. When I get the football, it's in 4 panels. There's the top 2 panels. Those 2 are sewed together, leaving the opening. Then I sew the bottom 2 panels together. After the lace holes are punched and the seam are pounded down, then I sew the full section together. The rule of thumb is you don't make a good football sewer until you run a needle through your finger. One time the needle just slid up underneath the foot, stuck in my finger. They put an ice pack on it, took me to the doctor, he cut it out, and I went back to work the rest of the afternoon. I'm tough. The turner gets the nice job of turning it right side out. Then it goes to the lacer, he or she, puts a bladder in it and then laces it. After it goes to the lacer, it's molded. Then the ball is ready to be inspected.
Sewing the football together is probably the most important quality.
All I ever wanted was to feel loved. He said he loved me. My friends told me it wasn't a big deal. They thought he was so cool, but they didn't know what he wanted me to do.
All I ever wanted was to feel loved. You have no idea the kind of pressure I felt to take things to the next level. Things were moving so fast. I was basically the only person in the freshman class who hadn't done it yet. So we did.
I loved him.
I thought she loved me.
My health class had CPR at school. I stayed after class to talk with the instructor about it. They showed me that it didn't have to be that way.
They showed me that I get to make my own choices.
There is another way.
That's the best thing CPR gives you. Another way. A better way.
A healthy way. Sometimes you don't see it because you're in your own world, but they don't make you feel bad. They talk to you like a real person, and they save kids from really unhealthy decisions. They tell the truth, and they know what they're talking about. So yeah, my life was different. I started to choose the better way.
I honestly don't know where I'd be or what I'd be doing had it not been for CPR.
Becoming a licensed sports official is a great way to make a positive difference in the community and support the over 160,000 Indiana student athletes that participate across 21 IHSAA sports. Sports officiating allows you to stay connected to the game, become a role model for our young student athletes, earn extra money, and support the patrons and communities of our IHSAA member schools. To learn more about becoming a licensed IHSAA official, log on to ihsaa.org/officials today.
We are back to the corner, and look at those two. Should throw them on some cadets uniforms, see if they can get into the end zone for Christian Brothers. Alongside my broadcast partner, Craig Cox, I'm John Cupo. Welcome you back to Alumni Field here on the corner of Kessler and Crittenden. On the campus of Bishop Chatard, as the Christian Brothers College High School cadets from St. Louis, Missouri are up 41-17 against Bishop Chatard Trojans here on a beautiful Friday night. And Craig, we've been talking through this break about really, we saw what happened in the first half, and Christian Brothers strikes first. They strike fast. They do it with power. They do it with speed. Chatard on theirs in that second half, some sustained drives, were able to put points on the board, but took a long time. Are you able to do that? Because it doesn't seem that the Chatard defense can stop this offense of the cadets. Are you going to be able to do that here in the second half, or do you now have to put a little bit more emphasis, maybe just go no huddle and let Drew Van Vliet speed this game up?
Well, I think that's a good point, John. I think, we talked earlier, I should say late in the first quarter, I think about the importance to try to get him out of the pocket. He's shown here tonight and illustrated throughout this year that he can certainly make some plays with his feet as well. But I think, trying to keep him in the pocket to where it's collapsing with a lot of pressure. He's athletic enough. He throws a good ball on the run, and he's got some capable receivers. I think on the offensive side, that slight adjustment I think could bode well for them. And then I think on the other side of the ball defensively, it's one, they got to get off the field. But they're the cadets aren't making it easy as they're just really spreading it out well. I think there's been 8 different receivers that have caught the ball tonight, including the 2 running backs. It's something that, again, seeing these slight adjustments, what type of effect or impact it might have.
Craig, you've been a coach for many years and you've been a successful one at that. How does the injury in that first quarter to their senior Aiden Duncan, starting receiver, what's the mentality? I mean, how much of an effect does that have on the rest of your team moving forward? You have a guy, he's a senior leader, goes out there each and every day working hard, guiding the younger guys through practices, games, and everything. You lose that. What kind of mentality difference does that have on your team?
Well, I mean, you always hate to see it, and certainly sending prayers out to him, hopefully that he's doing much better. It's one of those things that we know the element of it, and with football, it's sometimes even more likely. But Coach Doyle, and even as a former coach myself, I mean, you got to coach your kids up and prepare them for that it is a next man up mentality. Your thoughts and prayers are certainly with your brother and your teammate, but it's one that you always got to be primed and you always got to be ready, whether it's getting shifted as a starter from one position to another, or whether you're coming off the sidelines as a second string player and teammate. It's one that you always got to coach them up that way, and players always got to be ready, and players make plays, and it's one of those things where, again, it's an element of the game, and Coach Doyle and his staff, I know, do a phenomenal job, and they got some great depth too where they're at. Might add too, they're a deep roster, but there's a lot of first-time starters that Chatard has this year. There's 7 of the 22 are first-time starters. So you almost got a third of that of your team in that role.
So let's talk about the team that has put up 41 points in this first half. Christian Brothers College High School, the Cadets. You look at their starting lineup: Cole McKee, Jason Wiley, Jared Stewart, Corey Sims, Jeremiah Love, Dylan Van, Ralph Dixon, Jeremiah McClellan, Dakota Mayo. We've said their names, all of them, multiple times here in the first half. You've mentioned it quite often, Craig, is that there are so many different weapons on this team. You can't focus on just one, because if you double team somebody, the last thing you want to do is leave any of these guys man coverage or one-on-one or out in the flat, because we can see once they get the ball, not only are they open, but they can make moves with their feet and explode with speed.
Yeah, they can. They spread it around. We've talked enough about that. But you got guys out of the backfield and the running backs that are making plays out in the flats with the receiving game as well. One of the toughest, or tougher, I shouldn't say toughest, but one of the tougher things as a coach is, when you have that type of depth and you have the players to be able to throw in and keep fresh, one of the biggest tasks that you have as a coach is to be able to take those kids and almost to the point where you're having them take a lesser role, or to where they're not going to probably have the numbers that they would play in someplace else. That's one thing that I always said that I've always been one of the most impressive things with Mike Krzyzewski at Duke was where he could take 5, 6, 7 All-Americans and have them take a lesser role for the buy-in for the sake of the program and what we're after. So there's a lot of the kids that they're spread around, and that's why we talk about, hey, you got 11 players that had receptions coming into this game. Your numbers might not be off the chart like they would someplace else, but buy into the program and do them what we do. So sometimes that's a tribute to Coach Pingo and his staff and what they continue to do in trying to have them take lesser roles.
Pat Cherry Insurance. Our staff will provide you over 40 years of trusted expertise and knowledge to help protect your assets. Visit us today so we can put a plan in place for you and your family. Call 317-894-7000 or email us at pat@cherryinsagency.com. And we did a read for Telemetry Sports earlier, and one of the things that we have the ability to do here is take a replay and actually show one of these student athletes getting to that top speed. And we have one here for you, and we'll get right to it. So here's Van Vliet. And this was the pass to Ryan Keating, and you can see he topped out at about 18.1 on the initial reading there. And again, Telemetry Sports for more than 6 years. They've been working with NFL and multiple college football teams as a data and technology provider. Player speeds and accelerations they provide are generated using computer vision, the same technology as autonomous vehicles. As you watch these players, keep in mind that over 18 miles per hour is very fast and impressive for high school and college athletes. I think 18 miles per hour for anybody is fast, not just college and high school. I think anybody in the Olympics, anything like that, I can get about 1.8 miles per hour when I get going.
No, it's what a great tool. You know, you see that a lot at the collegiate and certainly the professional and the NFL. But what a great tool that IndianaSRN has at their dispense to be able to do that. And, you know, it's a neat thing, too, for our viewers, too, whether it's a family member or not. And then these kids, as much as film is a great part of just high school sports in general now, it's neat for them to go back and see that as well.
Well, what it also does, Craig, is you see on that play, Ryan Keating got up to about 18.1, 18.2 miles per hour. But then look at all the other athletes from the defensive side of the ball were able to collapse on him and bring him down.
Yeah, correct.
So all the speed on the opposite side
that
was able to catch him and bring him down. So just amazing what these athletes are capable of, the modern technologies, their weight rooms, the equipment that they're using now, just top-notch. You had mentioned it with Bishop Chatard and the facilities that they have for these kids here. I'm going to be 100% certain that Christian Brothers has the same down there in St. Louis for their student athletes. So it's just incredible what these student athletes are able to accomplish on the football field.
Well, yeah, and you see so much of it. You know, we talk about collegiately and what has came in, even though I'm not a huge fan or don't like it as much, but what has become a big push for a lot of these recruits to go where they select is facilities. And you've really seen a lot of that trickle down into high school, and some of the compounds that these high schools are building is it's state of the art, and then you see what these collegiate players get, and it's incredible, but it's neat, and you know, as the IHSAA continues to provide student athletes opportunities, and you know, with SRN and us traveling to these different games, we're at a great luxury to be able to see some of these areas, and we're seeing one tonight, as we talked about earlier, with Chatard's as well.
So it'll be the Cadets receiving as they deferred in the first half. It'll be the Trojans setting up on defense. 41-17. And we've got 24 minutes of football to decide. Will it be Indiana or Missouri?
Set to kick off the second half.
And we are underway in half number 2. Squib kick and out of bounds. Will be penalty on there. So they will mark this at the 35.
Well, the thing that you don't want is be able to put an offense like Christian Brothers in a position where they have a short field to operate with. But that's what will happen here to start the second, or it looks like they're going to have them re-kick it.
So they're going to send the kicking unit for the Trojans back on the field, and we'll try it again.
Looks like Mount Vernon has scored again to be up 20-6 over Newcastle with about 7 minutes to go in the second. Traders Point now up 28-0 just before half.
Mount Vernon, last year's 4A state champions, start off with a rocky start, but have won 3 in a row. Facing their Hoosier Heritage Conference rival. So we'll try this again. And it tries again, and that is collected. And not sure what the flag is here, but
before the 10-yard.
We'll see what it is for certain here. So offensive interference there.
Yeah, there'll be 15 more. They're going to have this just inside the 35.
As you mentioned, Craig, the shorter the field, the quicker the cadets will get to work.
Well, I think their scoring drives have averaged about probably a minute 40. They've had two that's been south of a minute, and one that's and these aren't ones that's been short too. I mean, some of these have had 60, 70-yard drives in a minute 20.
So they're going to mark this at the 33-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10. And it's McKee. There's McClellan. Get some space. And he'll get out to about the 25-yard line.
Number 3, McClellan, brought down by number 20, Nate Meyer.
And clock will continue to run. They'll give him the 26. Here's McKee. Hands it off. Makes a move, and there's the outside speed. Great block. And that's going to be a penalty. I'm going to guess that's going to be a blindside block there.
Yeah, as soon as it came in, and he
hurt himself on that one. Looks like got up a little slow. Dakota Mayo. That was 6 points, but this one's coming back. There it is, legal block in the back. But you can see the speed. You can see another running back. That was Dylan Van there. Made a move to the outside, and really I don't think the block was necessary there. If he just kind of would have shadowed him, I think Dylan Van had enough speed to get to the outside, but contact was made.
You know, we talked about some of the, sometimes getting content on some of the players from teams that are from out of state can be a little bit tough, and we were trying to see about where Jeremiah Love was one of them that we were talking about. He's got almost every major offer throughout the country with Notre Dame, Alabama, Texas A&M, Oregon, Georgia, Arkansas.
Some decent schools at the
a few of them
FBS
there.
level. So here's McKee. Looks in the end zone and had his man wide open, just overthrew him. Is looking for McClellan.
McClellan, yeah, it certainly would like to have that one back.
He got separation, but McKee just put it a little long. It'll be 2nd and 10.
2nd and 10 at the 15-yard line.
So here's McKee. The aforementioned Jeremiah Love to his left. Gets the ball. Makes a move, makes a spin move. Now gets to the outside with speed and power. And he just trickles into the touchdown.
That's why he has the offers that he has.
That's just a great power speed run right there by Jeremiah Love, the senior. And on cue with the names of Georgia, Alabama, Notre Dame, puts the Cadets up 47-17 with 11:08 here in the third quarter. Gage Chance will look at to make 48-17. Hold is down, kick is up, and the kick is good. So 52-second drive, a little bit longer than anticipated of the other ones.
Doesn't take long for this team.
But the Cadets go up 48-17 here at Bishop Chatard High School. You're watching high school football here on IndianaSRN.
Becoming a licensed sports official is a great way to make a positive difference in the community and support the over 160,000 Indiana student athletes that participate across 22 IHSAA sports. Sports officiating allows you to stay connected to the game, become a role model for our young student athletes, earn extra money, and support the patrons and communities of our IHSAA member schools. To learn more about becoming a licensed IHSAA official, log on to ihsaa.org/officials today.
We encourage you to follow us on Twitter at IndianaSRN. Find upcoming games, video highlights, and much more. Follow us now at IndianaSRN.
48-17, the Christian Brothers Academy. The Cadets have come into Indianapolis and have put on an offensive show against the Trojans of Bishop Chatard.
I'll tell you, they're pretty electric on offense and not too bad on defense as we take a look at the replay here with Jeremiah Love. But I'll tell you, he turns in something where he looks like he tackled and spins out of that, makes him bite again. And you get this kid on the edge, and it's not just the edge with his speed, but so elusive with his footwork and his vision. And been pretty impressed with him tonight.
And once again, key block from his fellow receiver down the field to spring him free for 6. So Drew Van Vliet back to work. And finds Keating, and he'll break a tackle.
Yeah, really good poise in the pocket there by Drew. Got a little bit of pressure on him, but being able to step into that and hit Keating. You know, Keating's been a really bright spot tonight. Obviously with Aiden Duncan being out and getting hurt early. Haven't heard as much from Noah Dudek tonight. Had a few catches. Colin guys had a few, but Keating has been a really good spot for them tonight.
So something didn't look right, but we'll get it situated. Clock continues to run, 2nd and 1. There's Bridenstine. Here's Van Vliet. Rolls to his left. And he was hit, and he was brought down. Amir Ellis got the pressure, got a piece of Van Vliet, and just couldn't keep his footing for the sack. Just once again, that Van Vliet's been under duress many times this evening. So it was 2nd and 1. Now it's 3rd and 10. Here's Van Vliet. Has Dudek. Makes a move.
See, look at, just the pursuit. You're getting 5 guys coming in here behind the line of scrimmage on a pass. It's just got a real good knack for the ball.
Yep, Jeremiah McClellan led the charge on there with about 3 other cadets. And that's going to bring up a Trojans punt. Their 3rd of the evening.
4th and 11 for the Trojans.
Snap is back. The ball's in the air. Straight up, and that'll sail out of bounds. We'll see where they mark it. And it looks about the 37-yard line. Or he keeps moving up. Well, they'll give him the 45.
Cadets have it at their own 45.
So it'll be 1st and 10 for the Cadets again. 8:56 left here in the 3rd. 48-17. It's going to be Cole McKee in the gun. High snap. Out to the flat. Has his receiver. Makes a move. And he'll get pushed out of bounds at around the let's say they'll call it the 46.
That's Jaden Jones there. That's the first time that we've called his name tonight. First catch of the evening. So yet another one that they have in there. You also see Jared Stewart who caught the slant touchdown in the first quarter as well.
Here's McKee, and just overshot. That was Jaden Jones again. A little bit too mustard on that throw. So it'll be 3rd and 1 for the Cadets.
They've brought in primarily all of their second-string receivers at this point. But make no mistake, these guys are still very equipped to really carry on with what the starters have been able to show us tonight.
Second stringers will be first teamers on a lot of other teams. Handoff up the middle. That's Ralph Dixon.
He's one of the three-headed monsters, if you would, on the running game for them. Coming into this game, had 40 carries for almost 400 yards, but he's also had a little bit on the receiving end as well, so kind of a dual threat back.
So it's McKee, Dixon to his left, 4 receivers. Here's McKee. Throws out into the flat. That's Corey Sims. And he'll get pushed out of bounds, right around the 26-yard line, get about a yard short. Be 2nd and 1.
Another big target for McKee.
So here's McKee. Hands off to Dixon, straight up the middle. Breaks a couple of tackles, drags him to about the 21.
Good there for a first down. Looks like we're waiting, though. I don't know. There's a penalty that we can't see on our screen.
False start. Or illegal formation. Apologies. On the Cadets. A few mistakes by the offense tonight.
Great point there, John. I was just getting ready or just thinking the same thing. As much as they are in terms of efficiency and how quick and skilled they are, they haven't had a lot of mental breakdowns. I'm thinking there's probably about 5 or 6 penalties they've had throughout the whole night.
Here's Dixon, straight up the middle. Just power football. Keep that clock running.
He's brought down by number 28, Meyer.
And we see the youngest of the Pingles out there, number 26. Scott's son, Jude. Here's Dixon, and good gang tackle.
Yeah, really good job there by those front 4 and making that penetration that they had. Again, this puts you in a position where you're, at least if you're Christian Brothers, maybe given some of your guys that maybe otherwise wouldn't be getting some of these reps to be able to get this. Still have McKee in as well. We saw Jason Wiley a little earlier share some of the snaps.
So it's 4th and 2. Here's McKee. Next step up, and he's brought down in the backfield. That was Nathan Meyer led the charge.
I love him. Still see him competing in what you want. You don't stop doing what you're doing, regardless how much you're up, how much you're down. Again, we talked about that halftime kind, staying true, remaining focused, and don't get too off kilter in terms of what is not part of the program.
So that's a good stand by the Chatard Trojans. I'll bring up 1st and 10. At their 35, Van Vliet in the gun. Here's Bridenstine. Right, cuts back to the middle. Gets to about the 41-yard line. So they'll give him 6. It'll be 2nd and 4. Here's Van Vliet in the gun. And here's Bridenstine again, just up the middle. And just runs into a wall of Cadets. Maybe got back to the line of scrimmage. Maybe lost one. He did get back to the line. So it'll be 3rd and 4. Clock continues to run. Coming up on 6 minutes left here in the third quarter.
And one where you finally got your defense off the field there. You want to try to continue to move these chains and getting this first down.
So Brian Stein again and met immediately.
And might
the
even
line
been
of
a loss.
scrimmage again.
Bring up 4th and 4 here again. Might even be 4th and 5. Ball's back at the 40-yard line.
Jacob Grunwald met him in the hole. Seeing some new numbers on the defensive side for the Cadets now. 4th and 5. Van Vliet under center. Play action and just throws it out of bounds. No one available. So that's going to be a turnover on downs. It'll give the Cadets great field position.
Turnover on downs.
At the Trojans' 40.
Cadets will have it at the Trojan 40-yard line.
Since its inception in 1987, Indiana Mulch and Stone has been dedicated to providing the highest quality products to landscapers, businesses, and residents in central Indiana. Our first priority and foremost goal is to establish long-term relationships with our customers by offering exceptional service and the highest quality landscape products. This philosophy has defined our success for the last 35 years and will continue for decades to follow. Contact them at IndianaMulch.com. So it's Jason Wiley, and he'll hand it off. It's Dylan Van to the right. Makes a cut. Now back to the inside, just keeps making cuts down the right sideline and pushed out of bounds at about the 9-yard line.
What a crafty run. I mean, at 2 different occasions, I thought he didn't have anywhere to go. And you notice they brought back in not only Dylan Van, but they also got in Jeremiah Love back in there too.
So he stepped out a few yards before the call to 13. Here's a handoff. And that's Van again. He'll push his way forward to about the 10, maybe the 9.
He's brought down by number 19, McAllister.
Wade McAllister on the stop. Give him 3, 2nd and 7. Under 5 minutes here in the third. Jason Wiley with Jeremiah Love and Dylan Van in the backfield. And it's Van. And good tackle, Nate Meyer. Nathan Meyer having a very good game on this side of the ball for the Trojans.
Yeah, no, we've certainly have called his name a number of times tonight.
So it'll be 3rd and 7. Handoff to the left. Has space, and that's Van, and he'll just waltz into the end zone. Broke a tackle. And that's another 6 for this running back core. Make it 54-17 for the Cadets. What do you see here, Craig?
Well, a great lead block here by Love. Actually threw 2 of them at that. And, you know, you love to see that. Here's a kid that's got every major offer in the country. And when the ball's not in his hand, what are you doing? So you got to love that, and where he's getting downfield blocks for his teammate and doing the other utility thing. So love to see that in such a blue-chip athlete.
So Gage Shands puts it through, 55-17. 3:32 left in the third quarter at Alumni Field. You're watching high school football right here on IndianaSRN.
Becoming a licensed sports official is a great way to make a positive difference in the community and support the over 160,000 Indiana student athletes that participate across 22 IHSAA sports. Sports officiating allows you to stay connected to the game, become a role model for our young student athletes, earn extra money, and support the patrons and communities of our IHSAA member schools. To learn more about becoming a licensed IHSAA official, log on to ihsaa.org/officials today.
We encourage you to follow us on Twitter at IndianaSRN. Find upcoming games, video highlights, and much more. Follow us now at IndianaSRN.
55-17. The team from St. Louis has brought a whole lot of offense up to Indianapolis this evening. Ball fielded at the 20. Brought out to about the 34. That was Bridenstine, the up man.
Well, we mentioned, too, earlier in this broadcast is that Christian Brothers will also get another taste of Indianapolis as they host Warren Central here in 2 weeks.
So the Trojans will start from their own 34. It's Van Vliet, Bridenstine to his right. And some pressure. Van Vliet gets out of it, makes a move, now goes upfield.
Really good cut back here in reading that. I think he took a shot there at the end. A little slow to get up, his teammate, but
it looks like he's okay.
And those are the types of things, too, in a game like this, is any type of positive type pieces that you can take in any part of the game, but certainly with what's ahead of us. And the game will go real quick with the clock running now, as the IHSAA rule being up 35, the clock will not stop. You get a penalty coming in here.
Yep, they got
Might
there.
Be another targeting possibly. But you want to try to take the good positive things. You're playing again more for this than tonight. Got 2 more weeks after tonight's game. I know next week Chatard will be against Terre Haute North. But yeah, so you're trying to take positive pieces through this for something to build on.
So pass interference on the Cadets. Pass was intended for Keating. So be tack on 15 yards there. Be first down for the Trojans on the 45 of the Cadets. Clock is running, coming up on a minute to play here in the third. Here's Van Vliet. Has a pocket, some pressure. Finds Walvern, breaks a tackle. Left side of the field with speed. And he will get down to about the 19-yard line. Good pitch and catch from Van Vliet to Wall.
Yeah, really nice play here in the flat, rolling out, as we talked about earlier, really trying to get Drew out of the pocket to make these types of plays, and great job by Wall, the senior, to be able to get this positive yard and play here to set them up just outside the red zone.
So coming up on 30 seconds, ball at the 21. Van Vliet. Keating in motion. He'll roll to his right. Finds Keating and tackled immediately.
Yeah, really good job there of open field tackle. Love to see him shooting the arms there. That's Lucas McAllister. Really good job there.
We talked about that big secondary. Lucas McAllister, the senior, 6'1", 210. Sure he'll play at the next level. And that's going to be the end of the third. And when we come back to the fourth, it'll be 2nd and 8 for the Trojans. It's Christian Brothers Cadets 55, the Bishop Chatard Trojans 17. You're watching high school football here on IndianaSRN.
I'm Keith Myers, Vice President of IndianaSRN. Thanks for joining us. Do you know IndianaSRN broadcasts 350 games a year? All sorts of sports? Yeah, we do. Hard to believe, isn't it? IndianaSRN loves to put student athletes first on our website. If you're a business out there, we probably could help you too. Contact us at coach@indianasrn.org. Grandma from out of state thanks you. Mom and Dad who can't get to the game thanks you as well. In fact, our athletes watch the games over and over again. Our military has enjoyed the games as well. So sit back and enjoy the game. It's IndianaSRN.
Start of the fourth quarter here at Bishop Chatard High School on the corner of Kessler and Crittenden. It's Christian Brothers College High School cadets from St. Louis, Missouri, up 55-17. 2nd and 8 for the Trojans. Here's Van Vliet to the outside and had Waugh just off his chest. Tried to catch that with his pads and just couldn't collect it.
One of those things, too, where you feel it's a fundamental type catch and you're thinking about turning your head and getting upfield before you possess the ball. So I think that's what's certainly happened there with Jeff and dropping that one.
So it'll be 3rd and 8. It's Colin Guy, Dudek, Ryan Keating, and Waugh. Brian Stein to Van Vliet's left. Here's a snap. Drew will look under pressure. And that's a sack.
I think he hurt himself there, too. I think Van Vliet came down on the ankle of Haverstick there.
Yeah, that was Haverstick on the sack, but he came down awkwardly there.
Yeah, he sure did.
And not what you want to see. And they will stop the clock for this. Hope the young man is okay. Great pressure came from the outside. We talked about the linebackers all afternoon. And don't want to see that.
Yeah, as unfortunate as it is, we know it's always part of the game, as we mentioned earlier, but it's never good, whether you're the player or whether you're a parent sitting in the stands and seeing that. But down and being attended to by the medical staff.
So we'll let the trainers and the staff attend to that young man, and we'll take a break here on IndianaSRN.
They say nice guys don't finish first. So maybe it's time to reconsider what it means to be first.
It's about being your best, but knowing you could be even better.
It's being present, but respectful of history.
You sure you want to make that move?
It's donating something more valuable than money.
It's believing in yourself and something bigger.
It's coming from different families, but treating each other like brothers.
It's not just being a man, it's being a Mason.
We encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, IndianaSRN. Hit the bell to get notifications for upcoming games and more. Watch as many games as you want, as many times as you want.
55-17. Wyatt Haverstick getting helped off the field. Let's hope he's okay. So we'll regroup. And we have a whistle. And something didn't seem right, but it'll bring the Trojans back to the offense. Van Vliet will direct. Bridenstine to his right. Here's a snap. Van Vliet fires deep into the corner and touchdown! Colin Guy on a beautifully thrown ball by the senior Drew Van Vliet.
Yeah, not only that, what a great haul-in. I mean, he was blanket coverage on that. Colin really reeled that in. What a great job by him.
There was only one place where that football could have gone, and Van Vliet found it.
Yeah, really good coverage and just an exceptional play by Colin, the junior, 6 foot 150. Love that Chatard's still competing. Love to see that in any team and these young athletes still fighting.
So Jasper Chapman puts it through. That's 24 points for the Trojans. As you mentioned, Greg, great, still great to see them playing hard, not giving up. We'll have a look at this throw, and this is precision at the high school level.
Yeah, great touch, just a go route. But again, really good coverage, but put the ball where only Colin could kind of make that play, and the DB wasn't able to make it, and 6 more on the board for Chatard.
So that makes it 55-24.
Yeah, that.
And Chatard will line up to kick from their 40. Here's Jeremiah Love, and that's the shortest run he's at all day. Bring it out to about the 28-yard line. So the Cadets will take over at about the 27. Yeah, they'll call it the 27, so it'll be 1st and 10 for the Cadets. And it's going to be Jason Wiley who leads them out this time. Alex Morris and A.J. Johnson in the backfield. And here's Johnson. Breaks to the outside. He'll get to about the 30.
A really good job making the pursuit. A little stretch play here, bringing him down for a very minimal game, maybe 2. Brings up 2nd and 8.
You also see Bryson Dorsey out there, number 19. Also number 14, Jaquise Williams. Here is Wiley, gets the outside, and he'll trickle out of bounds. Did he get past the 1st down marker?
I believe he did. Well, maybe not. Looks like they got him marked just short of it.
And stepped out a little prematurely. So it'll be 3rd and 1. Clock continues to run, under 8 minutes now. Left here in the 4th quarter. So it's Jason Wiley. Shotgun formation. Hands off to Johnson. Johnson to the left side with power and speed. He'll get to about the 45. That'll be good for a Cadets 1st down.
You see a lot of the backups again, really still creating holes for this running game. You got Wiley's a little bit more of a runner than he is a passer.
And some miscommunication there.
Yeah. I think the receiver was there. Ball was intended for him. Wasn't even looking.
Not sure who that was intended for. Either Jude Pingle or Cameron Griffin-Horst. So it'll be Wiley. The crowd referees wanted a false start, but none doing. Just pass out into the flat, and that is Jaquise Williams. Another receiver on the board tonight for the Cadets. Now we see Malik Matthews on the field as well, number 30. Under 6 minutes to go here in the 4th quarter.
Yeah,
Christian Brothers 55, Chatard 24. Hand off. This is Williams, and he'll get to about the 50.
We talked earlier about some of these guys maybe getting some snaps that they otherwise wouldn't get, but with an offense like the Cadets have, some of these 2nd and 3rd stringers probably see quite a bit of action because of the margin victory that the Cadets have put up to this point.
So a rarity for the Cadets here was their first punt of the evening. And why not put it in the hands of Jeremiah McClellan? He's done just about everything tonight, so I'll let him punt it away from his 35.
Oh.
High snap, and he gets it away, and that's going to be, if there wasn't laundry on that, I'm not sure what should be.
Yeah, he took a shot. And at that, he got sandwiched between two of them.
Yeah, I'm surprised there wasn't a late hit on that. Maybe there was, and
don't see actually any flags at this point. It's a little surprising that we didn't see one.
Well, I guess we're just going to play it as it is. There's a flag there. Flag just came down. Landed in the lap of Lance Walker, number 21. So we'll see what happens here. It's very late.
You got an unsportsmanlike conduct.
So at the end of all this, it was an unsportsmanlike conduct on the Cadets.
I think a lot of that, John, was probably because of being irate or upset that the flag wasn't thrown.
I know it's hard to keep your composure, but we sure saw a lot of contact on that punt. But these referees have a very tough job. We appreciate all that they do. And participation in high school athletics does not have to end with high school graduation. Even if you've been away from the game for a while, get back in it by becoming a licensed official in any of the 20 sports sanctioned by the Indiana High School Athletic Association. Contact the IHSAA at office IHSAA.org. So the 15 will put the ball up to the 38-yard line. And it's Aiden Ortega, and he'll fire, has his man at about the 45, and well, we need to settle down here.
Yeah,
it's under 4 minutes, and things are getting a little testy down there on the field.
Yeah,
well, Pingle and Doyle need to corral their troops, and let's end this thing on a good note.
Yeah, the situation, like, especially when you get something like a, rushing the punter as they did and kind of getting a shot there and not the flag thrown, and you get a little bit of emotion from the sidelines with the not only coaching staff but players. Sometimes they can carry into the next series.
So a sideline warning. And not sure if that was on the sideline or, and you can kind of hear it through our crowd mic here, is that fans are getting a little testy too. Here's Ortega. He'll drop back, fires over the middle, has Dudek, reached up and grabbed it.
Really nice grab and good hit there by the corner.
So at the 50, Aiden Ortega, the junior, also hits the hardwood for the Trojans in the winter season, basketball player. There's a snap, takes it one hand, moves up in the pocket, fires deep down the field, and lots of contact down there. Was looking for Colin Guy.
Yeah, really good job by Ortega stepping up in the pocket there and making that throw, and a good job there by the corner to be able to close on that to break that up.
Vian Cothran on the coverage there. Eddie Benson, sophomore, joins Ortega in the backfield. Under a minute 30 left here in the fourth. Here's a snap. Ortega drops, pressure, and he's wrapped up. More pressure. Nick Musig, number 31, was there to take down Ortega. It's another weapon on that Cadets defense. As you mentioned, Craig, the way that these scores get for this Cadets team, that a lot of these second, third stringers probably see a lot of time.
Yeah, I think it'd be probably pretty common for them, and looking at what some of their scores have been this year as well. Got a very sound team.
Here's Ortega, fires across the middle, has Colin Guy. Good completion, still working hard.
A really great job of following that ball into the hands, and really great job by the young man of controlling that, not only corralling the catch, but just having the strong hands to have the ball security at that.
The junior Ortega showing some nice precision on these passes. Probably the predecessor when the Drew Van Vliet era ends here at Chatard. Coming up on 10 seconds, probably the final play of the game. Ortega will drop back, fires it deep, and in and out of the hands. That was close. Intended for number 89, Kalen Sargent. And that'll end it. So the Christian Brothers Cadets travel up on I-70 to Indianapolis from St. Louis and beat the Bishop Chatard Trojans 55-24. Special thanks to our excellent producer, Greg Smith. A great on-site camera work by Matthew Stein out on the field, and our entire Indiana SRN crew. So, Craig, quick wrap-up. A lot of talk about what we were going to expect from this Christian Brothers team, and what did you see?
Well, I think that there was a lot of anticipation. We knew that they were a solid team. State champs last year in the state of Missouri in the highest class, coming ranked number 1. Obviously, though, we weren't real familiar with some of the personnel per se, other than just statistically speaking. But I'll tell you, they were extremely powerful, maybe as powerful as a high school team that I've seen even last year or this year. And so that's to their credit. And pretty solid defensively, too. We talked about a little bit of that went south when their leading player got ejected for a targeting call. But yeah, I mean, I think it was one of those things. Chatard just couldn't get off the field defensively, and they were just scoring, right and left in a very quick pace.
So Coach Rob Doyle of the Trojans will get his team ready for Terre Haute North next week. And for my broadcast partner, Craig Cox, I'm John Cupo, and we thank you so much for watching Friday Night Football here on Indiana SRN. Have a great night, everybody.